Hey everyone, Joshua Hanlon here at BrickFair, Virginia 2019, and I am joined by Caden Burton, and we're going to be doing a tour of the whole show floor here at BrickFair, Virginia. So Caden has on some authentic BTB merch here. What all are you wearing?
Got the flat brim, they like the OG crew shirt, and then I'm rocking both the original and the new bricks.
Yes.
So
this is a shameless plug for btbmerch.com where you can pick up all your own authentic Beyond the Brick merchandise. But with that out of the way, we're going to launch right in here to some of these builds. So is this your build right here? Yes. Awesome. What do you have for us?
My build. So this is the shore of Shire. So there's this building here, and this is a lighthouse, which is in progress. And I've got a boat here. I've got the mast coming for that. It's got a lot of rock work, some little palm trees, little details like that. And, I've got this little cove, which is loosely inspired off of parts of the Caribbean, the scene where they have like the soldiers hanging down, and I've got a wrecked pirate ship, and I've got one that's I'm still working on. I've got the mast coming for it, and I've got these two buildings. This one I built while I was here, so a lot of last minute stuff, but overall I think it's a nice build. And sure. This is all Rebel lug all the way down here. There's some Star Wars stuff over there, and I think it's a good little mix of all kinds of stuff.
Very impressive. Your rock work for sure stands out here, so thank you so much for bringing it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Keep up the good work. Next, we'll move down here to this upside-down mountain build, and I think we first saw this on display at Brickworld Chicago, NPU with the Mountain Dew can there.
yeah, it's cool to see all the builds that come out from different shows, especially the ones you see online that come out to the shows that you're local to. This is one of the only shows I make it out to, so
yeah, definitely make it to as many shows as possible. Here's a Porg, I believe, but it looks like it's been slightly modified.
Cyborg.
Oh,
Cyborg,
okay. Maybe. We'll go with that for now. Some tiny Star Wars vehicles. I love this build here by Simon Liu. This is the Sewer Babies, so I think this is inspired by the second Lego movie, where you see some of those sewer babies coming out in the post-apocalyptic world. He's got all sorts of different scenes with what the sewer babies have going on there.
Yeah, I like how he's incorporated the clear in the back, so you actually have sewage draining down through that back spire with all the minifigs running around.
And then down here we've got the Singularity engine. Really impressive spaceship. One of many very impressive spaceships we'll see on display at the show.
It's really smooth too. That's one of the cool things about the ships. Is the amount of tile work that goes into them to give them the sleek look. The
less studs, the better, I think, for a spaceship. It always makes it look cooler. Got a Knights of the Old Republic Star Wars ship. Same thing here, the Old Republic. A couple smaller scenes. That Star Wars Imperial facility kind of looks like, is it the Blacktron colors with the yellow and black there, the old space theme? That's kind of what that reminds me of.
Yeah, it looks like it, a little bit. Well, it also looks like they have some of the characters from Battlefront 2.
Built by Noah Hennings, the Soldiers of Mandalore, and it looks like we've got some acrobatics happening. I'm not sure if John caught that on camera. Someone's jumping the tables.
Jumping the tables and the stanchions.
Very impressive, but back to the builds here. This is part of the collab. We actually just posted this video, so this video is on the channel where we featured a collab from a number of builders from Rainbow Six, exactly. So you can see some of the builds on display here. This was a really impressive bunch of builds.
I like this one. I'm pretty sure this one's new this year, or at least at this show, that I play Rainbow Six, that he added the charm to little hanging figures you can put on the sides of your weapons. So he was able to incorporate that using some some flexible pieces, and he's got the little figurine at the bottom.
Yeah, that I believe is Caleb's build there, so great work. Spencer Hubert, his Death Trooper helmet. I like the green domes at the bottom of it. Like an older green dome piece.
Dark green, yeah.
You've got brick-built replicas. Check them out. Check the YouTube logo there. Check them out on YouTube with an Exoforce build. And then what do we have here? It looks like, let's see the Mach card. We'll put that back up. Oh, this is an Overwatch build. So for any Overwatch fans watching the video, you might recognize that. Keep moving our way down. The tiny Maersk micro ship is very nice. some smaller kind of mechs and vehicles. This build to the left looks like it was inspired by the Benny's kind of army builder set with the different colors.
Well, he's that, and it looks like almost taking some of the same inspiration like from what Simon and a lot of people doing like different habitats and stacked in rooms like that. You get a lot more. You can add a lot more stuff without adding depth. So
here we have a few builders still hard at work. Is this half covered up for a reason?
Yeah, this is the Rebelug collab. It's a total banger. It makes lasso ropes look like a complete joke. You have to be at the convention to enjoy it. Sorry.
Convention exclusive.
It's exclusive. So we got a quick sneak peek for the internet viewers.
It's just like the front third of the build here.
You don't want to see it. It's so incredible. It makes have you seen the ship back there? Have you seen like the Monk house?
See it in a little bit.
It makes every other Mach here look like I don't know. It's bad. It's bad. I'm telling you. Okay. This is a banger though.
Well, that sounds amazing. So I'm really glad you're keeping it an exclusive here at the show. I'm sure the people will appreciate it. There's a builder I think preparing for a build back there. That's hardcore preparation right there. All you kids watching, if you want to become builders, this is how it's done. Then the Imperial base on Kashyyyk. And come across to the next set of tables. Looks like this is all, I think we got Star Wars for quite a while here. A lot of smaller Star Wars builds all along here. So let's see what all we have. Do we have the builder here? Are some of these yours? What do we have going on here?
So basically they're pretty much all Star Wars, and I really love clone troopers. So most of them have clone troopers in them. And right here, this is an X-Wing pilot, and he got stranded on an unknown planet. And I built this a couple days before BrickFair, and I got ideas from the Brickwiz.
Great. Shout out to the Brickwiz, great builder. He does some awesome stuff on his channel.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. These are some great vignettes. Keep up the good work. Keep coming down here. Looks like we got, this one is a big Bespin city build.
yeah, it's one of the cool things about your guys' channel is you see the differentiation in sizes of themes at all the different shows you go to. Whereas like here, like some of the big themes are like the pop culture and military, whereas the other ones, there's barely any military, and it's a lot more like city or space. It's cool to see what different people in the country or different people in the world choose to build versus other places.
Yeah, you're right. It definitely changes considerably depending on what show you're at, so it is interesting to see. Here's a giant ARC 170 starfighter, really cool. Battle of Endor, and then we got the Y-wing here. An Imperial Tie Fighter and a massive Imperial class Star Destroyer. Are these your builds here? Okay. Tell us about this one real quick.
So this one was designed by a guy named Raskolnikov, and the entire thing comes apart, all 15,000 pieces. So it's got a full detailed interior and everything.
Yeah, that's amazing. It looks great on display, so thank you. I'm glad you could bring it out. And then this next one, a lot of black pieces used in this build.
Yeah, it's the Battle of Umbara from Clone Wars, the Clone Wars series.
There you go. Here's a giant Battle of Kashyyyk, which I think we featured some variations on this battle in the past. Oh, you guys are good. Don't worry. You can keep working. So I think we've featured some variations of this in the past, but this is quite a large layout.
Yeah, it's one of the ones, like one of the Star Wars battles that gets done a lot is like Kashyyyk, and Scarif is another one, but this one, it's wide and it's kind of a lot more open than some of the other ones. David Hall's massive one that he had here a couple years ago, it was fantastic. But this one, I like this, especially the tree with the dark brown as opposed to just the reddish brown, and then using the reddish brown around it for those plates adds
Yeah. That darker brown, you don't see that used that often. I feel like you definitely see a lot more of the brighter brownish colors.
That's a lot of dark brown, too.
And then moving on down, it looks like you guys are hard at work here. What is this?
Endor, but it's kind of half done.
It's a half-done Endor, it's a work in progress.
Yeah. I just was like goofing off like the first day, and just because my first BrickFair, so yeah.
There you go. Well, I'm glad you're having fun with it, so I'm sure something will come together here. Yeah. Thank you. They don't close the hall till 2 a.m., right?
Today, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So after World of Lights, we just kind of hang out until the ever stages in the morning, and then come back in 6 hours later.
Got a few builds like Escaping Jeddah. So you got another smaller Kashyyyk build back there. Is that your build there? Yeah. 1 month. Yeah, well, thank you. I'm glad you could bring it out to the show. Let's see. Imperial Raid on some smugglers.
I like the red lights in there, right above the flex tube that goes all the way around.
Kind of gives that like mood lighting that
Yeah.
sets the scene really nicely.
Well, especially like putting I don't know what kind of lights that is, but like using them in the middle of the tile fills up the entire thing. So it's not just where the one light is, it kind of fills up, all the space that there's nothing behind, but because it has the translucent, the tiles.
Works well. We've got some more builders hard at work here before the public. What is this you guys are working on?
This is
Kashyyyk
Kashyyyk
battle.
Mach.
Okay.
There's a hidden base in the mountain, and then the Hoods are invading with the Kashyyyk soldiers, defending. We have a movable roof.
Trying to incorporate some lighting in there?
Yeah.
We just
that's
got
right.
these lights earlier, so.
Okay, last minute lighting is always a good idea. Always makes it cooler. Thank you. What is this? The Han Solo?
Yeah.
Oh.
This is another replication of Lego builders using parts off the pick-a-brick wall. The white studs and I think even the white slopes have been on the pick-a-brick wall now for a little while. So
If you can get them in big quantities, you gotta use them.
a couple weeks ago, and probably got a couple hundred of them. So
There you go. And down here, this is a couple of very impressive Star Wars ships. So this is the Mon Calamari cruiser right here. And then next to that is the Victory class Star Destroyer, the Aggressor. So it looks like you got it kind of battling.
yep.
Those are really neat. Got a Siege of Mandalore build here. Is this your creation?
Yes, this base was actually built by my friend Brian or Lieutenant Rex, but all the rest of this was built by me. This AT-8P was converted into a 501st one, and a lot of the minifigures are custom by me.
Thank you. Okay, Phoenix Productions. You can see how it came together. Here we have a trading colony. This is a very slight variation on the typical Star Wars build here.
Yeah, I mean, G's Pizza, can't go without G's Pizza.
There's like a yellow brick road type of section with Minecraft.
Figures. Yeah, you just like have every pop culture theme ever in like this one build, and then you got G's Pizza.
I love it. This is some construction style building. We've seen this pop up in the last couple of years, I feel like, with the Star Wars figures where builders have started making scenes that fit more with that larger style of build.
Yeah, well, it's cool too because like a lot of the parts that they're using to build, especially foliage, like you can see towards the back, the burnt orange, using those big quarter round bricks. I mean, that's a ton of them right there, just in that one log, and those probably aren't cheap. So to build scenes for the big construction figures, I feel like it's a lot more difficult to do landscaping for much larger kinds of what you're putting on top of it.
It's like way more parts intensive when you're doing it in that size, that's for sure. Here's, you can see all the parts laid out here. There's a lot going on in this area here. This is a whole work in progress, so we'll let them just keep working on that and move on from there. We'll come across here to smaller micro ships. It looks like we've got a whole series of micro builds here. This is the DSS Nomad. I love all the vehicles that accompany it there. Let's see, what do we have next to that? These are all chess. I think that's like an acronym for these little builds. Comms relay. Here's some spider and ant walkers. Lots of smaller little micro techniques on display here. Here's Buzz Lightyear's X-Wing. Shout out to Boone Langston. He would want us to mention that. Let's see. Galaxy Destroyer. I like the patterns with like the blue studs on that. And then some more. You can see a lot of builders still working on their builds here. I think there's been a lot of work in progress shots so far. What is this?
This is a clone base on a lush forest planet.
Okay. Oh, you're just putting the finishing touches on it?
Yeah, I have some pieces stuck in places that I can't get them off, but I'm working on it.
There you go. Well, good luck. Thank you. Here's some larger, like mech type figures. Got a couple robot behemoth. I love the Iron Man there.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a lot of builders are still at work, but there's been some very interesting complications with setting up the past couple days. They've been cutting tables from themes, giving them other themes. We've had tons of people just like come in with unregistered stuff and try to drop it in spots. So it's been an interesting couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This Heartbreaker Scout mech is awesome. Is that the magenta color? I think.
Looks like it. Something pretty close to it, or like the dark pink, if that's even a thing. I don't know.
There's too many colors to keep track of. Another couple mechs here.
I like using those bucket, like the gold bucket handles at that angle, kind of give like scales or something on the looks like rail guns or whatever his hands.
Yeah. Kind of creates kind of a cool weapon. Zoids, Firefox. Here's a Bluebell Battalion. I don't even know what these. Is this like these are Duplo characters, I think.
They just recreated the Duplo character as a massive skeleton with one inside of it. Maybe it's a mech.
Shout out to Nick Voss for that incredible creation there. There's the Phoenix Sunburst. Some Gundam-inspired type builds. How's the building coming along for you over here? All set up. That's good. Great layout here. There's Benny's classic space, some inspired builds back there. I like that. Mountaintop Monastery, using those white pieces.
Yeah, I like the rock work and the sand green on that one. Or like, yeah, the sand green, especially using the probably Technic pins to get those slopes. So the domes he has in some of the smaller little buildings over there.
And then we've got Mecca Battle here with, let's see, Mecca like Rex next to it. Are these your builds? What is it? What is it depicting here?
I kind of inspired it from some of the Gundam shows I've been watching recently, and I've also been starting building this one. So I've kind of just been toying with the idea of building larger mechs now. So.
Nice. Great work. Have you displayed at BrickFair before?
Oh no, this is actually my first time. So.
Oh, that's awesome. How have you enjoyed it so far? Have you been able to do any games or anything like that?
Yes, and it's been very great. It's very fun.
That's great. Well, hopefully you'll make it back next year. Looking forward to it. Thank you. Come down here and catch a few more builds before we move on to the next section. This character on the right, the Alien Assault. I don't even know what some of the like blue pieces are there, but creating the face, that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, this almost looks like a horse saddle or something, like their friends' saddles.
Something like
yeah.
These pieces here with kind of like internal electronics look to them. I like that. Spaceport shootout. Looks like you got Benny was being attacked by some aliens. And then a few different smaller spaceships here. So let's see, I think that finishes out that section. So we'll just keep making our way. Let's keep making our way down this direction. And as we say with all of these tour videos, we do our best not to skip anything. So our goal is to show as much as possible. We'll try not to skip over anything. So starting right here, we've got the Martian exploration mission, which has, I think, uses some of the like tire pieces there for the legs.
Oh yeah.
And then a build. This is called Night of the Moon Festival, based on some East Asian folklore. That rabbit.
Yeah. These figures are kind of cool. This one on the end and this next one on the left here, using a lot of the dish pieces almost to get those helmets. And I'm not sure. I don't know if Lego released like a Rebel Alliance trooper as a construction, but that almost looks like his helmet at kind of an angle for that top piece with the visor.
Yeah, some great parts usage there. We got a cheese station with all of the classic spacemen enjoying some cheese there. Here's a whole bunch of kind of a NASA display with a bunch of different space shuttles. Yeah, Sputnik and some smaller space vehicles and satellites there. I love that. They got all the minifigs, the whole crew on display there as well. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, the sand blue chrome visors are awesome. They're hard to find, but they're certainly.
I think, what are those from some of the older space themes that they had those?
Either that or like some of the old Aqua underwater stuff. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not old enough for that.
The Moon and Beyond. So you'll notice a lot of these builds, they're grouped by theme, which is why you see a lot of this stuff in one place. So that's kind of how BrickFair does it. Here's some spaceships. A lot of red and black, almost M-Tron look on some of these.
Yeah, I think space got kind of a boost, especially in like actual NASA stuff this year, since the theme for BrickFair this year is the Moon and Beyond.
Yeah.
So a lot of mocks are titled that, or have the spaceships. There's some mosaics too that we'll get to at some point that have that theme to them. So.
Gotcha, that makes sense. This build here I love. I've mentioned in a lot of videos over the years how much I love when builders use like cool flower pieces and that sort of thing to make nice scenery on a build. And I just love the contrast of like the darker, like black and white Star Wars stuff with the really bright flowers and everything here.
Yeah, it's one of the cool things about Star Wars is there's so many like weird planets, and not even planets, but like landscaping areas that you see, whether it be movies or shows or whatever, that have just weird colors that Lego makes but nobody actually uses. And then you get stuff like this where you can actually utilize those parts and make it look good.
It's Tatooine Market. What do we have on display here?
There's a few, the 10 to 4 hallway, scene from Battlefront 2, Mustafar, Tatooine, Hangar on Minbed, and Manta, and a little hallway. It's just a few mini builds. It's my first convention, so really nice just to be here. So.
Yeah, no, that's a great start. These are some really nice builds here, so that's super cool. I hope you can come back in future years and keep bringing some more builds. Thank you. How's it going? Is this your layout here? What's the brief, your 30-second overview of this build?
Palpatine was planning some secret stuff for the Death Star in the lab, so then he had the Separatists come and attack it, so it's all like hidden away from the Republic. So it's kind of some secret stuff happening. There's no Jedi, just plain outright chaos.
That's what I like to hear. I love the lights, all the details. Great job. Thank you. And then I know we mentioned NASA stuff earlier, so here's a whole nother display.
Yeah, these ones, especially this one, I was watching this being put up. I was kind of scared for it, but it made it up. So
that's how you know it's a good build, when you're a little concerned as it's going up.
And it's still standing. Like the skyscraper last year, they had to take the floor off of because it was gonna fall over.
Oh yeah. This build here is by Tristan Kane. We've featured his work in the past. He always brings something really amazing, and so this build, just looking at it alone, is really great, but actually there's tons of movement in there that makes it even cooler, and unfortunately he's not here to show it off right now, but definitely look for more in-depth video on this that we'll do with Tristan, because it's really amazing. You can see kind of the schematics he used for the Iron Man armor there.
Yeah, it's cool. It's one thing to see like, big figs like that, I mean, usually big figs are like his hip height, where then you go that much further, as well as put the movement ability in there and all the little details. He's got the glowing chest plate. I'm probably guessing there's lights in there. All the small stuff he's got on the mask, even the glowing dishes in the hands of the gloves too, to get like the glowing effect for Iron Man's armor.
We've got kind of a space base, lots of use of the clear rounded pieces, make some nice buildings. This is a very minimalist military Mach here.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is. I came over here looking, and because I saw it from one of our other pods, but there's no minifigs. I'm just confused at this point.
That's all they needed to have on display. And then I believe you've got the Toy Story Mosaic there. That's really cool. It's very eye-catching, those colors. You can see that from like way across the room.
Yeah, it's like part of what's on there, at least from what I can see, is like the off yellow. It's like that light green. So.
I feel like some of those colors you got in like Scala sets or something like in the old, some of those old themes.
Lime, off yellow. It's hard to look at being colorblind, but it's interesting.
And then you've got the snails, the flying snails monorail display here. So keep moving on down then. So I think the next layout we've got is Empire Lug. And they, together with Rebel Lug, are kind of the two big Star Wars lugs that do a lot of those types of builds. So what is this first layout we have here? It's a Star Wars. Okay.
Battle of Christophsis. It's the it's the first big battle scene from the Clone Wars movie.
There you go. So, in your personal opinion, did they capture this well?
Yeah. The scene. So this is kind of like the earlier part of it. There's an episode later on in one of the seasons that came out that had a kind of a revamp of it with two of the buildings, which they actually have one of them. That's what's captured in the back. So they kind of have both sides of it, which is cool.
I've never seen the scene this is based on, but I love the unique take on, not doing the typical Star Wars scene because you've got all this like blue involved in the buildings here with the yellow. I think just very unique kind of geography and architecture.
Yeah, I don't know what the planet's actually made of, but like the walkway that they're on is like the only thing you can actually walk on. It's like the other side's like an energy or something like that you just shouldn't go in.
There you go. Got a little refinery. And then a little Mordor build. Outposts at the Shire. And some Jedi Fallen Order. So let's see. Then we switch gears a little bit here with the Dunkirk scene, which I love this. I think this looks like it's maybe based on the Dunkirk movie.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the cool things, I talked to the builder with this a little bit earlier, and the net technique he uses for the waves, they're not actually anchored. It's just the way that he has the tiles laid on there that they hold that ripple effect. But no, I mean, I like the smoothness of it too. It's not your normal, beach landing where you see, just plates everywhere and blood and all that stuff. It's, really smooth. Just where the infantry is where the plates are. So it's cool.
You're right. That's unusual. Usually it'd be like all studs when you're looking at a build like this. So kind of a different direction. That's nice. There's the AT hauler. A couple Cloud Rider bikes. Band of Brothers battle here. So the Battle of Noonan, I think it is.
Yeah, Noonan. This is one of my friends' mocks. So he actually only had about half of this on Wednesday, and went home and found the other half. So he's been working on it the last couple days.
That's always good when you find the other half of your build. That's convenient.
Yeah, you don't want to lose it, but then you don't want to not be able to find it.
Vietnam build. So last year, I should mention for people who saw our coverage, we had covered a big Vietnam collab that was here at the show last year. That's super cool. So people should check that video out if you haven't seen it. But here's a nice Vietnam, and it's even got like a beach, almost like a beach landing scene here that you don't typically see with a Vietnam build.
Yeah, it's cool because like this year, walking around, there's a lot more variety in the military stuff that's been displayed. So there's a big collab for Cold War that we'll see a little bit later. I've seen a lot more Vietnam stuff, just like by their own. There's a couple World War I mocks. Obviously, there's still a ton of World War II because that's just what BrickFair Virginia's military section is pretty much known. But we have a lot more variety in military stuff this year, which is really cool.
Yeah, switching it up. Here's depicting some fighting in Denmark. So a little Lego home country representation there with the military builds.
Lego may not like that against their policies, but as a military builder, it's one thing.
You can appreciate that. Jeddah City, and then a Republic stun tank. Looks like we've got maybe a few work in progress builds here. This is the UCS Kessel Run Falcon, so I guess they kind of took the Kessel Run version of the Falcon and made it look as if like Lego released a UCS version.
Yeah, I like this one, like the color scheme on this one a little bit, because like a little bit more than like the gray one, because the gray one's got a lot more just kind of stuffed all over it, hoses, and this is a lot more just clean with all the tiles.
Got a search and rescue mock here by Matt. Shout out to the Brick Wiz. You can check out a lot of his builds on his channel over there. And then I like the brick-built kind of landing pad for this build here, so even attempting some kind of like angles and stripes and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
This build here, I'm not entirely. This is a Shining Soul replica candle. So they just built a candle out of Lego, which I don't think I've ever really seen that done before.
Especially in purple, but it also has lights in it. So I mean, maybe it's actually scented. Never know.
Might, maybe like inside there, yeah. Very unique build. Massive Tatooine docking bay here. So I love all the different scenes inside there, and I know we'll have a more in-depth video on this on the channel as well.
Yeah, what's super cool about this one, I'm not sure if it's a collab or not, but they hid 10 of the, and you can see one right there, that's probably the easiest one to see, the little mini kits from all the Lego Star Wars games. And there are 10 of them, I checked. Some of them are hidden pretty well, but we found them all the other day. So.
You've got to be completist with that.
Yep.
And then this is the Mos Eisley spaceport over here. Massive Battle of Crate. So we featured a few of these. This is actually David Hall's take on the Battle of Crate. So for people who watched our kind of studio tour with David Hall last year, he was maybe like halfway done with this when we showed it in that video, but now he's got a complete, I think, is this the first time he's actually had it on display anywhere?
I think this is the first. I'm pretty sure he brings like each big one to one show.
Okay.
So he's got this one, and then he's scrapping, I think, part of it for his next big mock. But yeah, he had most of the landscape set up yesterday. He set up the minifigs this morning. So
yeah, a massive build. Even I love the scenes he built into the back of the mountain there as well, taking advantage of that space.
Yeah, I mean, I watch him on YouTube as well, so I see a lot of the work he's put into this, and it's really cool to see it in person, especially this backside, because he doesn't show a whole lot of that, at least like the views you get from it. So being an exhibitor, I can go back there, like look through all the different angles, but the edge where he's got the Millennium Falcon and the micro scale TIE fighters is really cool, especially vertical like that. However it is that they're mounted is probably pretty. I'd hope it's pretty sturdy.
Yeah. And the Empire Lug collaboration. So you've got a lot of minifigs on display, sitting at attention. Here's a derailed. Looks like there's something going wrong inside, kind of a factory or something there. I love this big build with like the multiple levels of the city. I think is always a cool way to present a build.
Yeah, I looked at so the Mach card says Mexico under his name, so I'm not sure if this came from Mexico, but that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Traveling
with this. I watched him set part of it up, and there's some very interesting connection points. But like a lot of the road, I mean the middle where all the slopes and wedges and stuff are, that's all built studs up. But then all this, all this stuff on the side is all built to snot. So.
Looks like it was done by CRCT Productions on YouTube. So if you want to see more about that build, I'm sure he has much more information on his channel there. The Stormtrooper Mosaic, and then smaller vignette type build. I like this with the snow-capped pieces just kind of thrown together to make the wall. That's really cool.
Yeah. It's cool to see, especially like historical stuff like that, not just normal city. The amount of parts that people are actually able to use, not in like the really weird and obscure colors, but like the actual colors that don't see a lot of use, but that you find like really weird uses for, illegal connections, all the fun stuff when it comes to putting together mocks like that.
Lost shipments. Got some clone troopers, some great rock work in some of these builds. I just love that when you can create that realistic looking geography. It's fantastic. It's campsite. You got some classic space Star Wars crossover, some characters. And then let's see, Avengers. Oh, this is the endgame final battle with. They got a lot of characters, but there were so many characters involved. I don't think they could include them all.
That'd be a pretty big collaboration if you were going to go that far with it. So
then I think that finishes out that section. So we'll just come right over here and take a look at this. So right off the bat, we've got down here, I think this is kind of the robotics area. And so I haven't actually, have you seen this in action at all, what they've been doing here?
I have not seen it. I believe I want to say I overheard the builder talking about it yesterday, that there's something about 4 seasons and it changes something when he does. I honestly don't know, but It looks pretty cool. The whatever in the middle, I'm kind of intrigued to see tomorrow what it actually does.
You got kind of like a sun solar system thing going on. Okay. Nice. Looks like maybe some stuff will be on display there, so we'll keep moving around. Then we've got some mechanical creations here. It's always neat. What are you working on right here?
This is a 1969 Mustang Mach 1. I'm just rebuilding it from being packed and everything, so yeah. Yeah.
Standard procedure, you've got to fix anything that falls apart.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, it's a little fragile, so it takes a little bit of time to rebuild the whole thing. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Well, it looks fantastic, so I'm glad you're putting it back together. Thank you. Got a crab-inspired build there. And then like a scorpion. I love that. And then let's see, the candy coaster. Look, is there actual candy in there?
I don't know. He was testing it earlier, and there's like a roller coaster car that goes up, and then the elevator takes it back up and keeps. I don't know if it's on a loop or not, but I mean, if there is candy, I'll take some.
Some more kind of Lego Technic vehicles with the Mclaren. Some really great stuff here. There's so much. The Morgan three-wheeler. I like that.
The Mindstorm section, so a lot more of the robotic stuff that isn't GBC is going to be in this area here. So, I don't know what he's doing with the tent, but there's stuff connected to it.
Something big is coming soon.
I'm scared, but it's going to be cool.
I'm sure it'll be impressive. If we round the corner here, we've got a lot of smaller but very detailed, very impressive plane models here. These look like they're pretty much all done by Jonah. This one here with the chrome in particular, I think is really cool.
Yeah, they had the amount of space that got switched around with the 3 different variants of the map this year. So this is Mindstorms and aircraft, but because most of this is military aircraft, this is our overflow space if we need it. So.
You fit in what you can, you know. These shows, there's so many builders bringing in such awesome stuff. You gotta do what you can to make it all fit.
I've been like half-acting theme leader for our pod to make sure stuff's getting moved to make space for other stuff. So it's been like I said earlier, it's been an interesting couple days. Hopefully by tomorrow morning we'll have it all figured out.
The public will come in, they won't know. Yep. Here's a Flying Fortress, a Lancaster. Black Widow. Yeah, these are really impressive. I think those were all Jonah's builds all along there. So
I like the camo work that he does on some of those. Similar shades of colors, but a lot of, especially with the dark tan, the dark green. It's cool. And the clear. Yeah.
And then we'll come around this direction to the next section. Let's start in right here. So this, I think, is some of the military. So there's a, as I think you mentioned, Caden, and if anyone has watched our videos in past years, military is a big thing here at BrickFair.
This is probably, if not this is probably the biggest, if not the second biggest theme here. And it usually is. We have a lot of military, a lot of people that bring huge collabs, huge layouts. So
this is B-29 Super Fortress. I believe that's Jax, who I think is Big Planes on YouTube. So we've featured a number of his builds in the past. Always does some great work. Lots of smaller little builds in here among the aircraft and tanks.
Yep, all making space.
There's even a like a Christmas surprise Revolutionary War build there. Some much more modern vehicles here.
Yeah, this is where the Cold War collaboration starts. So from here, almost all the way around to the other end of this L table here is all Cold War era. This is their collab. So they do collabs a little different than the normal bring your section, clips everything together. Everybody brings their model, and then it all gets displayed with references and everything else in the same section as everybody else. Yeah.
They're much bigger on kind of having the information there available for people and presenting kind of the individual scenes.
And they like to do a lot more of the vehicles as opposed to like the minifig battle scenes. They do the vehicles, and they build whether it be the border or the water or for this massive sub that we have. This is one of Yasser's planes, and he built a aircraft carrier deck just yesterday for to display it on, and he put lights in it earlier. So.
This is super impressive, and we'll definitely have a more in-depth video on this whole collab, so we won't dwell on it too long here. So we're trying to show everything. I love the little protest scene back there as well. I think that with like all the colors and the minifigs there just stands out among kind of the gray vehicles.
Yeah, well, it's cool. So there's one there, it looks like here, and then there's another one. They have like actual real-life Cold War era gear.
Helmets and hats, that sort of thing. And some more planes. Some of the Vietnam collab, I think, made a return back there, so that stuff is super cool. And then massive, let's see, this is the B-36D Peacemaker. So this is your build right here. You want to give us a quick overview of what this is?
Oh yeah, this is the B-36 Peacemaker. It's the largest wingspan of any combat aircraft to date. It does have motors, it does spin, but it needs to have new batteries for tomorrow. So it runs about 2 hours and it's done after that. But
there you go. No, I saw it running earlier and it was very impressive. So we'll definitely get more info when we come back and do the more in-depth video. Thank you.
Yeah, hopefully that should be up and running by tomorrow.
One of the cool things about all the aircraft we have is the amount of time they put into making sure the wings don't droop. Especially with massive wingspans like that, some of the other bombers, and even some of the smaller planes that have wide wingspans. Getting whether it be Technic or all plates in the wings, just to keep them from sagging, is really impressive.
Yeah. Here we have Magnus with this is your GI Joe layout. That I think you've had similar things set up over the past years. Is there anything big or new this year?
There's new vehicles. There's more vehicles than before. The landscape itself is set up in a different way from last time, but doesn't have any new landscape elements. Most of the new stuff I have this time is new vehicles.
Gotcha.
I'm just beginning to set up the Cobra defenses here, and if you came by in an hour or so, you'd see a bunch of Joes as well. But yeah,
It'll all come together before the public comes in.
Yeah, but what I want to do is I want to do a kind of two-stage battle where tomorrow on Saturday, it's in the earlier stages, and then on Sunday, it's developed a little bit. So if you come back 2 days, it'll look a little different.
Cool, yeah, change it up, make it more interesting for people.
Yeah, I want to keep it fresh for myself as well.
Exactly. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
So yeah, it's always cool to see how they change this up and what's been added every year to the big GI Joe layout there. Lots of awesome stuff. You can see some of the vehicles I think they'll be adding very shortly to the layout. Lots of different vehicle builds there. And then keep coming down, got, I love this big kind of drome there.
Yeah, I think that's another one of Magnus's that he had last year with the motorized like thing that goes, whatever that red, I think it's like a drone plane, something that actually moves up and down.
And then we've got the Battle of Benghazi. Is this your build here? So what do we have taking place?
So what happened was this was the Benghazi for America that was located in Libya, and at the time it was during a very tenuous political time. So what happened was a group of al-Sharia terrorists stormed the place, and what happened was it ended up with 2 people, including the ambassador of the place, dying, as well as the Navy SEAL, as you can see here. So that's about it. What was interesting about it was the new space piece that came out this year for the solar panels. I thought worked well because it was located in Libya, which is very sunny, and so I figured since it makes sense because they were located on top of the building.
There you go. Thank you.
That's the end here.
Yes. So let's move back that way. Yeah, we'll head back this direction to this square here and see what's on display. Making our way through all the builds here. Looks like this is a lot of space. So we'll see a lot of, starting off with some more classic space inspired kind of larger builds. And then this one, Galaxy Girls Explorer. I love that, using some kind of the princess pieces.
The big panel, the face panel from the first Lego movie.
There you go. Space Control Tower base. Got the Space Hearts moon base hangar. Again, using some of those pink pieces. It's always nice when builders switch things up with the space and it's not just gray.
Yeah, I think space is one of the cool ones where you can mess around with color schemes and find stuff that works that is really, unorthodox and like standard whether it be builds, and obviously being a military builder, all my stuff's gray, but pink and white in the back, pink and dark gray here, or purple and dark gray, sorry. And then there's we've seen Simon Liu bring stuff that's like sand blue and orange, and unsponsored plug there.
Yes. We appreciate the builders really spreading the word. So this is, I think, the Moonbase Collaborative, and so this is kind of, if you see the sections broken out there, each builder kind of brings their own square to the Moonbase, and then they can attach them all up, and there's kind of a standard.
Seems like each one kind of picks their favorite space, classic space, M-Tron, all the different, the ones that they like the best, and then just create their sections that clips everybody else's.
That's the great thing when you have a modular system like that. Everybody can kind of bring their own section, and it still fits together.
And I mean, all the pieces from all those themes look pretty similar. Same windscreens, just different colors. So
a massive squadron of classic spaceships. I like the Mission Operations Center using those space pieces, like the screens.
Duplo Star Destroyer.
There we go. Putting Duplo to good use right there.
She's even got the stand made out of Duplo too, using the looks like castle wall pieces.
This is titled simply "The Worst Mach Ever," and I'd actually have to disagree with the build. maybe that Mach card was sabotaged by someone, but that's actually a very cool build, especially when you look at the way they offset the pieces there for the stairs.
Yeah, that's almost looks like the tiles with like the wall in the back,
Right.
kind of like stacked into each other with tiles on top. Because I don't think anything, even with jumpers, I don't think that you get that thin. That's really cool. I might try that later.
A couple ships here. Alien Planet, I always love the use of those flower pieces, like a Venus flytrap sort of thing. Armadillo Deep Space Cruiser. Here's the Puff 47. I think we've shown this in past tours, but I always love this. The green kind of rustic, outdoor woodsy type of effect on a spaceship is neat. What do we have here?
I have no idea, but it has a hanger, and I like it. I'm assuming it's called the Heart 1. So, I mean, it's Heart, there's a Heart 1 on the top of it. But it's cool. They have this purple, gray, there's even some pink. They have the whole name. They have the name of it spelled out in brick on the side of it, too. And then the lit hanger underneath that goes all the way through.
Very well lit, which is nice. You can actually see inside there. That's always good. Yeah, that's fantastic. The Clickets brick up there. And then going kind of a different direction than that, but equally impressive.
I love this one. The amount of small pieces and just like really unorthodox stuff, using chainsaws. They got, barrels up there.
The boat pieces on the back there.
Yeah, the Zodiac pieces. They got binoculars. It's probably 100,000 binoculars on this, if you really counted. But I mean, all the connects, like click stuff. All the old style hinges that actually like click. He's got all kinds of stuff like that in here. I was looking for this thing for like a half hour yesterday, just pointing out all the different pieces, all the different angles, and even the use of the, I guess, I don't know if that's the Death Star, but like the micro Star Wars planets as like his.
Right. Yeah. Those have been incorporated in so many amazing ways into spaceship builds. Looking at the Mach card, I think we might have some people infiltrating the displays here.
April Fools in August.
Some more kind of micro space scenes. So you see, a number of these say they're built for Shiptember, which is the big ship building contest in September every year. So kind of everyone challenges themselves to build 100 studs or longer spaceship in September. And then down here, a whole army of like cyborg-looking creatures there. Some tanks, some mechs.
Aliens.
The piece here for the alien's face.
I think it's the arm off of the robot from Ninjago City.
Okay.
The one that fits on like the old Magna Guard torsos. I think that's what that is. And I'm pretty sure they're rubber, but I'm not sure. They look kind of rubber. They don't have like the gloss that normal Lego pieces do.
I love M-Tron with blacklight. I think that's always super cool. So whenever you get that, because it works so well with the neon green, that's just, I love seeing layouts like that.
Yeah, I like especially like the weird colors, but then you have all the lights included, and it's so bright. You know, you see, especially for World of Lights, when they turn the lights off, this is gonna get really, really bright.
They took it to the next level with the M-Tron mug cup over there.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it sounds like they're about to turn the lights off on us, so we'll finish out this section and then call the night tonight and finish up tomorrow, I think. So let's see what else we have here. This is the Leapfrog 2, using the giant green tires.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen those before. I'm not sure if those are Lego or not, but let's hope they are.
Could be from some of the Technic vehicles, some of that stuff. There's some pretty massive stuff in some of those vehicles. There's some really nice kind of flower builds using those little like disc pieces.
That's the color scheme I was talking about earlier, the blue and the orange with the brown. It's like you would never think to put those three colors together, but it works so well, especially on spacecraft.
That's Dan Rubens' build, which we've featured a number of his builds over the years, some really great stuff he's created. And then some more classic space. You got Wild Style in the back there. Ice Planet, Control Tower, and Ship. You don't see a whole lot of that normally. And I think that's going to finish it out for us for tonight. So we'll catch back up tomorrow and finish out the rest of the convention floor. Now we're back for day 2 to finish the tour out. One more quick plug to some new merch that Caden has on, always representing there. Good stuff.
This is honestly, this is probably the two that I own, this is probably one of my favorites.
So then we launch in here with a section of military builds. Let's see, John was just showing there, had like a World War II build. What do we got here? This is World War I German attack. So World War I not quite as common as the World War II builds, but you see some of it.
Yeah, you see, and it's cool too, because like you see the World War I builds, but it's usually the people that bring World War I that continue to bring World War I. Yeah, they bring the same kinds of stuff every year. It just changes.
Some Operation Barbarossa with some Germans and some Soviet troops. Let's see, we've got a build nominated for Best Battle Scenes. You'll see that nominations on a lot of the builds now because those have been put out as they prepare to give the awards.
Yeah, so voting, I believe, closes tonight. So we'll actually have all of the finished, and we'll have the Brickies awarded tomorrow morning. So
the Battle for Saigon during the Tet Offensive. And this is a big skyscraper. A whole bunch of smaller tanks from different eras. Patrol ship here.
Yeah, this is one of my friend Robbie's builds. He's brought ships. I wouldn't say this is his second one. I might be wrong, but this was really cool because he has lights. The little bird he has a red light or a clear light in the cockpit, and then another light down below that shines for the spotlight that he had flying above it last night.
Smaller desert military encampment, hill defense. Let's see, some of these smaller vignettes. I like some of this. You got like the westward expansion, some older scenes that you don't see very often.
Yeah, so these couple individual heroes and then the next collab down here, this is all headed by my friend Jonah, who does a lot of historical stuff, like very post, like pre-war, like World War stuff. All you can see here, like John's showing you now, all the natives versus British imperialists and stuff like that. This is the collab that came together the other day, and it was pretty cool to see all the islands that he put out.
Yeah, I think this is depicting the British landing in Fiji, so something you don't see depicted very often with Lego.
Yeah, it's cool too, because you see, and especially with history, there's so many things that are not talked about or that aren't researched as much, and when people do stuff like this, you get to ask about it, and they usually, when part of our job as military builders is to research what we're doing, and then we get to tell people about it. So it's adds that whole other level of, it's not just putting Lego on a table and showing it off. It's being able to explain what it is and why it's important.
Yeah. It's World War II winter build here. Like the building on fire contrasts nicely with kind of the white snow. And then a whole smaller howitzers, vehicles, landing craft. So you see this with a lot of builders, just kind of bring a variety of builds like this.
Yeah, and I like the difference. So he has a lot more. You see a lot more of like the American and the German vehicles. He has a lot of Japanese vehicles, which you don't see very often, including the Japanese landing ship, which I think is amazing. Very well done. as well as some of the AA guns, AT guns, AI guns, anything, and especially the tanks. He's got all the type howitzers and anti-tank guns are really well done.
Planes, and this looks like some more modern stuff here, getting away from some of the World War II stuff. Very sleek looking vehicles and boats here.
Yeah, these are my friend Jeremy's. He's got the ships, and he actually did the F-16 the other day, or the F-18 the other day. But the camo patterns he's able to put on the ships, you usually see it on like tanks and trucks and stuff, but he's got it on such that large scale, and still is able to get the right shape for those boats. It's really cool.
Some more smaller military vehicles here as well. And then here's the November Revolution here. So going back to kind of World War I era, the November Revolution in Russia. So you see some of the Bolsheviks marching there. I love the kind of off yellow kind of color of the building there, something you don't see very often.
I like the road technique. He has the 1x1 tiles with the clips on top just laid on their sides on a tile base underneath, so it breaks up a lot of it. It's not a solid road.
And then the Battle of Okinawa, nominated for Best Battle Scene. So some great cliff kind of rock work there on a round build, kind of structured in a way that's pretty unique.
Yeah, that one's really cool. I like the inclusion of the Okinawan civilians or locals kind of running down through the Marines. It's not just soldiers like you usually see.
Yeah. Here's a packed build, kind of a futuristic take on the battle for Germany. You've got some Russian and American mechs mixed with Germans, and there's a lot going on here.
There's all 5,000 factions. There's German, British, Russians, Americans, mechs, tanks. Everything, whether it be history or sci-fi or modern, is somewhere here. We were trying to figure out exactly what this was because he didn't have the mod card up until earlier today.
And then got some. Are these some of your builds here?
No, these are all mine. So I built all these over the span of a couple years. Ever since I was like 15 or 16, I've been building old dark gray. And as I find new techniques and new parts and stuff, I always update them. In fact, today I found the set of lights, and I built a hook in the back so I can switch them on and off. And I built the Panther Tank in the back, and I built a little Dio for it. I was really pressed for time. My girlfriend and I just finished moving, and we were packing stuff until Tuesday night, and we built everything real fast until like 3 a.m. and then we came over here. But yeah, set everything up. Only took me about an hour. Wasn't a whole lot of stress this time. It was nice to not have to worry about everything for once. No collaborations or anything.
Kind of keep it simpler. That always helps. But I like the old gray you've got there.
I love building old dark gray. There's just something about the olive tone that looks good on, an old Allied vehicle, because, the bluish gray looks almost more German, more of a German tone color, but I prefer to use tan for German vehicles and then old dark gray for anything Allied. It's fun. It's more complicated because there's no cheese slopes or anything like that, so it's very limited onto parts. So I have to resort to things like even using like brick arms and U-clips and random little clips to make angles and hinges. And it's a lot more fun. I found that it was almost boring building in new colors for me. So I wanted to take it back and try something old. But yeah.
Fantastic, thank you. Keep moving down here, we got a Syria build, so going very modern there. And then, let's see, couple more World War II, and I think that finishes out this section for us. So we'll go across the aisle. Then to this is one of my favorite builds at the whole show right here. This is so incredible. So this is the Russians storming the Reichstag in Berlin at the end of World War II here.
Yeah, this is massive. So one of my close friends, Sean, is the one who brought this, and he drives from Michigan every year. And the fact that when we were setting this up on Wednesday, I was helping him out, and he had never actually connected a lot of these sections before, like fully. So putting this together, and especially connecting the towers, getting all the walls and roofs to fit right, was kind of fun. There's still some plates that aren't actually like fully pressed down, just because we can't. There's no point in which it's strong enough to do it. But it was kind of funny because we were trying to figure out how to push all the plates down without just destroying stuff.
And then we definitely will have a more in-depth video on that build. And then I think you, Caden, actually have some vignettes here, and then the collab you were part of.
Yeah, so the 5 World War II ones, so the 4 here and then the one on the far right are all mine. The one in the middle is one of my friends, Charles. And this was just something that I wanted to do aside from our collab, since I wasn't doing anything huge. I wanted to do some smaller stuff, and as well as some European theaters. So the first 3 on the end are all based on the first one is Omaha Beach, so U.S. infantry, and then the other 2 are based on the airborne, both in Normandy and then again in Bastogne. A miniature Midway Mach after the new trailer for the Midway movie coming out. Definitely going to go see that, but that's depicting Japanese carriers being shot at by a U.S. destroyer, and then a Guadalcanal Mach all the way on the end.
Yeah. And then your larger collab, which we did a more in-depth video on, but you can just mention briefly what this is.
Yeah, so this is the Peleliu Airfield Mach. This was about a year in the making. We started it last year, and we ended up cutting off some of what was originally supposed to be there with the loss of some of the collaborators, but we did end up getting nominated for Best Military, which is really cool.
Great job. Some more vignettes up front, and then Iwo Jima build back there, so they're kind of depicting the iconic scene with the guys raising the flag in the top, and I think we'll see another depiction of that later on as well.
Yeah, this one's cool because he has he kind of has different portions of the battle. So he's got the beach landing scene, he's got kind of and then he has the end of it where the Marines are raising the flag at the end. So he's got both ends of the spectrum there.
Let's see, this is, I think, a First World War build, so you get those older-looking tanks from the German and kind of British sides, but also with the snow, so it's an unusual scene.
Yeah, this is one of my friend Jonah. I work with him actually back home, and I helped him design or work on the A7V, and he had some British infantry, or was supposed to have some British infantry. We were going to create kind of a gas attack effect. Unfortunately, we couldn't find those, but nevertheless, the snow technique and the amount of cheese slopes he has on this makes the ground cover look fantastic.
And behind that is the Battle for Baghdad. To the left of that is one of my favorite builds at this show. This is Freeing the Aliens on September 20th, 2019. A build inspired 100% by the storming Area 51 meme that is popular at the moment when we're recording this video. And I think this is just amazing. The builder took that meme and ran with it. He created a whole hangar area. He's got the Naruto run here. What else does he have?
Well, so talking to him, he actually has a disclaimer on what he has, his kind of bios for this build, that none of this is endorsed by the government, any of this stuff, to make sure that he's not proposing that we go storm Area 51. But it's hilarious. He didn't have minifigs on it until last night. I told him if I found my sig fig, I was gonna slide him on here somewhere. But he's just so much just random stuff in here with monster cans. He had he's got guards all over the place, aliens just hiding in different places. It's funny. I love it.
And some battleship and destroyer builds. So you got kind of a German-American scene back there as well. I like this island conquest. So once again, you see maybe some British troops going ashore on an island, kind of like we saw earlier with the Fiji. And then that ship is very impressive. Large white custom sails. And a smaller little...
It's World War II Italian, actually. Okay. So it's not something you see very often. Usually you see the Germans, U.S., right. Russians, Italy. Seeing Italian infantry depicted is pretty cool.
Almost lost John, the cameraman, on that one. Got to watch where the chairs are. So this build looks like it's been torn down maybe a little bit, but we did a more in-depth video featuring this when it was all together. This, I think, is the Battle for Berlin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a little bit bigger. One of the builders left, so they actually had 2 plates that got cut down. So it's now, instead of 6, I believe it's 4, and they may have added one later. So.
And if we keep coming around this direction, you've got Generation Kill. So this is based on, I think, an HBO series from the Iraq War.
Yeah, it's cool how much HBO does in the form of modern, and not even just modern, but military, videography in general. We had Band of Brothers years ago. The Pacific is another one. I have not personally seen this one, but it seems like military stuff is kind of, especially in TV series, Amazon Prime did Jack Ryan, and those are all kind of the same kind of concept, just different parts of history.
Yeah. Here's another scene depicting that iconic Iwo Jima flag raising. You can get the photographers. See, another take on Peleliu. So you've maybe inspired some other builders there.
I have. It's kind of funny, actually. This was brought, there was a builder last year who came, who had the same kind of thing. It was a lot more green than it is tan. He came back with this, the same thing, very much remodeled, more realistic in my personal opinion. and it looks a lot. But he added some more minifigs, added some more grass, redid a lot of the landscape to make it a little bit more kind of flowing, which is awesome.
It's the Russian heroes of Syria, kind of smaller build, displaying some different guys with some information there. We've got some open space. And then Operation Market Garden, so kind of an iconic World War II depiction. And then let's see, I think they've got a few more builds around the corner. So Vietnam Patrol, the helicopter, East versus West, some Russian and European soldiers on display. And then
It's Dunkirk. All right, I believe, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's part of the town of Dunkirk. So the infantry coming out from the town where the French have been defending onto the, I'm guessing what here would be the beach, if it was extended.
And if anyone watching the tour wonders how the builders get these large structures, you can see the background of the Reichstag. I think that's really great.
Setting it up, he had a lot of Duplo, but he had a lot of everything that was all of his like support stacks were all duct taped. It was kind of funny.
We'll move this direction over here now. And so this is the Spirit Lion build, which is, I'm not sure what exactly this is based on here, but it's a very unique lion-looking sculpture. So it's kind of an ancient ancestral spirit, it says. So it's got kind of the trees and stuff coming out of the head.
Looks like almost kind of like a little village or something living off the top of it, off the back.
Yeah. This is a hotel room, the executive suite for La Quinta. Is this like a hotel executive that built this? They've got a little subtle public relations going on there. Here's the brain harvest, the mad scientist, and some kayakers doing some extreme sports there. I love the way the water comes down, and then they just kind of use parts dumping at the bottom, but created the cascading water.
Yeah, especially using all the different kind of shades and contrast of blue there, and as well as the clear.
Shipwreck Titan. Some smaller Star Wars builds. And then a little like Lord of the Rings. Let's see what else we have here. A little small Western scene. This build here we actually, I think, have a more in-depth video on from another show on the Minifig Factory. This is really cool. It's like the microfigs go in front of the camera and the larger versions pop up.
Yeah, I like this one. I've seen the video you guys did on it, and we kind of, what we got here, we got to look at it and really see the technique that was put in the back of it with all the gearing and how the conveyors actually works, which is cool.
This is the new, let's see, the ideas kit that they turned into like a gift with purchase, I believe. So somebody's kind of added lights and made a whole scene out of it. Some Grand Prix race cars. A little Scooby-Doo.
Zombie attack.
Zombies. Large Friends Town. This is the Heart Lake Wonders. And then some micro scenes. I like this ship in the back, almost like a steampunk type of thing going on there with the gray and the brown. Lava. Here's the Castle Garden, very Disney inspired, very nicely done with the sidewalks. And then some smaller kind of house scenes here and restaurants. The produce market is really cool. Is that used like the baskets as the roof on the top?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Especially switching between the lime green and the reddish brown it's a cool color combination, but it also has like that off yellow like we were talking about earlier for the walls mixed in with like the dark tan and stuff.
Yeah. And then Fuzzy Love, this is like a heart, but it's made out of the plant pieces, so it gives a nice effect to the mosaic.
Yeah, it looks pretty fuzzy. Not sure if it's comfortable, but it looks pretty fuzzy.
This is the western branch of the North Carolina LEGO Users Group. So you got the initials spelled out there, brick-built letters. And then stereotypical cyber-apocalypse. Octan, you got kind of the iconic stuff there. They captured the stereotypes.
I like the stuff like this where there's no actual base. They're just kind of putting stuff down, but they have different structures that are taking up space. It's cool. Like usually for a lot, what we build, we have all the landscaping and stuff set up, but then you have stuff like this where they're just kind of dropping stuff, and you still see the tablecloth underneath, but you see a lot more of the detail because it's not built on top of anything.
Right. This is the Kitty's home. I'm not even sure what's going on in here. There's a lot of printed tile scenes. Let's see. Star Wars. Some of the iconic Star Wars vehicles. Looks like a handwritten sign, so maybe some last-minute mock signs. They're shooting a movie here. Let's see. This was a brick filming set used in A Deal to Die For. So
he's brick filming set used in A Deal for horror movie filter being made by. So he looks like he's filming a horror movie and that's one of the sets, which is cool.
Probably, I'm assuming the screen would be playing some of the brick films there. Minecraft. You don't see a ton of Minecraft at this show, but a little bit represented in the Emmett Awards. There you go. I'll come down this direction to the next series of tables. Just start right in here. This is
Charm City. I'm pretty sure it's Charm City Lug.
Okay, so Charm City Lug. So yeah, they've got a bunch of massive stuff here. We can kind of go inside here and check it out. This first section is their giant train layout, which has town and area. I love there's even like a manhole area there so that somebody can stand and control everything.
Yeah, a lot of the same stuff they use for GBC. The big train controllers is black with the white or the yellow knobs. They have probably 9-10 trains running on this thing maybe with all the tracks they got. So
some massive ships here. With the brick built sails, that's pretty serious when you've got the brick built sails going on.
Massive cathedral.
The cathedral has been gathering a ton of attention. I think this has been a focal point at the show. This is the Union Pacific train depot here with the Arctic Express, which has been nominated for Best Train Engine. Love the colors on that.
Yeah, it's really cool too because the building behind it as well has all the cheese slopes and stuff on it.
And then you've got the Chick-fil-A here as well, which is always nice to fun to see some of those kind of iconic restaurants in the buildings. Vengers Tower. Let's see. Here's the whole Nexo Nights, Nexo Plaza. Lots of cool buildings there. Let's see. What else do we have here? Kind of farm fields, getting into the more remote section of the train layout. Vestas wind turbine, I think an iconic Lego set that's been produced a couple different times now over the years. Very well known. And then Binacle Tower. Lots of different creatures built here. Birds, characters. This guy shooting his orange bullets. And we started getting into Hogwarts here. So this whole layout is Harry Potter themed. Some of the iconic Quidditch scenes and all this stuff. So it seems like we've seen a lot more of that. I guess because Harry Potter maybe has returned as a Lego theme recently, seen a lot more of those builds.
Yeah, it looks like part of the Great Hall. I think that's the name of the set. The Great Hall from the Hogwarts Castle is maybe inspired some of the micro scale parts of the Hogwarts Castle.
Mm-hmm. And then these machines here are actually really amazing. They both move. So this one kind of has a solar system rotation. This one on the left actually plays different music. You can see the songs, and he just switches out those tracks, and it plays different music.
That's cool. I kind of want to hear this one. It's Imperial March from Star Wars.
Yeah, he had that going for a while today, and it was really cool. It's a micro-scale Resistance Colossus. So this is kind of a micro-scale Star Wars ship, I believe. These are all Star Wars builds here. I think this is like a Star Wars fans kind of section in this section now. So you see a lot of small scenes.
Small iconic scenes from all the different movies.
And then even some Spaceballs stuff there. Spider Darth Maul. One of my favorites is this Bespin, which has a whole bunch of different areas recreated with a lot of the iconic vehicles and all the characters in there. A lot of detail.
Yeah, and even different to the UCS one that got released recently, they have multiple levels. So it's got the kind of the carbonite bay below, and then all the nice kind of fancy Bespin hospitality based hallways and clean white above.
Yeah. And the Resistance space hangar here. You got the Last Stand from Game of Thrones. So now we've got the Bionicle section here, and it looks like we've got a couple builders with some of their builds. So what do you have here?
Yo, well, hi. I'm Chris, aka Met Productions, and I just have like all 60 of my mocks here. It's this big world I've sort of put together. Like, I don't really know what to say since I didn't really prepare a script, but, you know, yay. But there's...
What are a couple of your favorites here of the builds you have?
Probably Shadow Walker, right, like there. He's a mauve of one of my friends, Happy Face Trees Mach, and Ace right there. Ace is best. There's not much more I can say. I honestly also do like Ishivak, who's the fire dude, just because of like everything, like his posability. Yeah. It's hard to pick favorites, but definitely Shadow Walker.
And there's so many here. How many builds do you have total?
60. Yeah.
That's a lot of building. How long would you say that? How much time kind of do you have into all these?
Oh, that's depending on the size. The smaller ones could take maybe 5 minutes, while the larger ones, one of them took an hour just to build the torso. And yeah.
Well, good stuff. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. And thank you.
Yeah, we'll come around the corner then here. Let's see, we've got another builder. So what do you have for us?
Well, hello, I am Camden. I go by Nether Eviboro on like social media like YouTube or anywhere else like that, and Flickr. And here are my box for my series Guardians of Ouroboros, separate from the World Bionicle. So here we have my Self Mach, Nether. He is one of the Guardians. This is the crystal here. I just did this mini one for fun, but like if you look here to the left, left, here are the other Guardians. To the right, the Sentinels, which are similar to the Guardians, just different titles. Back here we have Necron. He's the main antagonist.
I like the kind of cape pieces you've used there.
Yeah. I also do a bit of Sharpie work, like with the sword there, and with the reddish cutter on the other Necrons in the line. And up here we have Crisis. He's a Horizon. It's very similar to Necrons, but it's pretty much just the corruption's fully taken over him. Over there on the other end, the teal guy, he is a Horizon, which has purified corruption crystals. And there's more story to that. And finally here, we have, hey, the Mach art's still here, Karina. He is pretty much the version of God in my universe. And again, more Sharpie pieces here to make it more interesting. But yeah, that's pretty much the basis of what I have for my mocks.
So from there, we'll keep moving around to some more Bionicle builds. I like the Captain America shield on this guy. Massive YouTube logo. I always like to see that. Shout out to the LEGO YouTube community. Here we see a mix of different Bionicle contraction figures. This giant red tank looking thing. I like that. Let's see, some large figures. I always like when they incorporate cloth in the builds. Kind of adds that level of detail and realism. And Mountain Dew Can Man. I think we've seen some representation from that in the past. Some really wonderful colors used here as well. And it's really amazing how much Bionicles show up here at BrickFair. You can just see how these tables are packed. So this is really kind of the mecca for Bionicle builders every year.
Yeah. Well, it's cool because like Bionicle too. Like I mean, like the one earlier said, he has 60 different mocks. You know, a lot of people that bring stuff, they bring 3 or 4 tops, maybe maybe a couple more, but 60. 60 individual mocks. That's a lot to pack. So.
Got some like nice Gatling gun, Blacktron mech, some Gatling guns there. And then coming around here, some really cool builds. What's this? I love this character. We got like 3 or 4 arms going on here, swords. Is this your build here? What is this?
His name's Dashad the Betrayed. So what he is, he's a human being that became a cyborg from stuff that happened. and I just designed him just to be this massive, like the leader of these mechanical beings I call Dells. So there's a bunch of them that I've made throughout the years that I just love making them, and they're fun. They're different. I love incorporating system and Bionicle, and just as you can see, you can do a lot with system and Bionicle as a frame base. But yeah.
Perfect. Great work. Thank you.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things about especially look at some of the Bionicles, is that they do incorporate system in some of them, and like that, it's a lot more system than the generic Technic stuff you usually see, and it's a nice change up from everything else.
So in a stunning plot twist, unfortunately, Caden had to go because they started the over 21 hours here at BrickFair, but we have a new co-host for the rest of the tour. So if you want to introduce yourself, let people know what you've got going on, and then we'll launch right in here.
Well, my name is Brian Saviano, otherwise known as Bricks O'Brien on the internet, and I was just building a couple of Lego sets at the front, and these guys were like, hey, you want to join in on the tour? And I'm like, fam, I got you. So we're going to explain a ton of the mocks that are here at BrickFair, Virginia, picking off where we left off here, taking a look at a bunch of Star Wars sets, including Bespin right over here. A very well articulated Bespin and showing a lot more detail than I think a lot of other mocks that I've seen at any of these shows are really going for.
Right. No, I think this is definitely one of the better depictions of this scene from Star Wars, which is quite a famous scene, but you don't see it that often, and I think this builder has really kind of done a lot with it.
You get that full-size landing pad of the Slave One over there. That's really important. It really gives you a sense of scale of the entire mock. It really sets the stage for where everything else is going to be on the mock, and especially needing to showcase those iconic characters in the iconic scenes, mixing both the classic minifigures and the newer updated figures. It's really like a mesh of like everything here, and it's really cool.
Yeah, for sure. So then we've got all sorts of Star Wars scenes mixed in here. The Resistance space hangar, the Star Destroyer bridge back there, which I think is cool. So you get kind of that nice shot looking out like through the front of the bridge.
And I've never seen just the bridge. I've always seen like the full model, but just having that bridge right there and just showcasing that scene right there in incredible detail, it really lets you focus in on what's happening in that command center right there, and it's awesome.
And then this, I think, is a Game of Thrones build, if I'm not mistaken.
I got nothing for you there, man. I got absolutely nothing. So I know that's, the Ice King?
Yes.
There he is.
I think just based on the context of the scene, we'll go with that.
That's exact. Sure, it's ice. There we go.
Then I like this is an unusual way to display some builds back here. So these are all different scenes, I think, depicting like the different Star Wars movies.
And you know what's great is you can showcase a ton of those at one time and really focus on one particular scene, but also, as you can see down here with the Tatooine build for, you have A New Hope, but then also the Shadow of Vader, that iconic poster for when people thought the Phantom Menace was going to be fantastic. Like that really set the precedent for that, but that's showcased really well in that build right there. And I mean, really everything here depicting all eras of Star Wars. It's great.
Yeah, and it also takes up much less real estate when you go up like that, because space is at such a premium here. I know they've had to move around a lot of builds and that sort of thing and fit people in.
Yeah, like at these shows, there's a lot of landscapes here, but not as much verticality in a lot of these builds. So they did a great job looking at that, and especially with this massive scale Ghost. Are you kidding me, man? A UCS scale, like I originally couldn't believe how big the Ghost is in comparison to the Millennium Falcon, and it like, why would they ever make the Falcon if you have the Ghost right here? It's awesome. You got the microfighter dewbacks here to really set the scale. The sand speeder, which isn't a thing, but hey, it's there. It's awesome. So cool.
This is the one that's based on the Brick Vault instructions, I believe. So we actually have a more in-depth video that we shot at Philly Brickfest this year. So if people want to check that out, you can see a lot more about that build. Coming around here, we've got a massive castle creation. So I think in the next room over, eventually we'll get there, is most of the castle stuff. But here is one large castle scene using all sorts of pieces. I like how they use the plates facing backwards out to kind of create that thatched roofed look.
That's not a technique you see as often. There's a lot more techniques of, having the plates face the standard way that we know and love, and then using different pieces to texture that. But the underside of that, it adds a lot more texture, and you don't have to have a ton of parts for it. Like, boom, there it is right there. And I love seeing just in displays like this, minifigures just doing their own thing. There's so many little scenes in this build right here that you really got to pay attention and look at. Everything from the horse nibbling on flowers over here. You know, there's knights chasing away pirates. There's so much happening around here, and that's the type of detail I love to see in massive displays like that. It really gives it a lot of character.
And then you get to the ultimate part here, which is the rock work in the whole castle. It looks like it's being assaulted by some like Lord of the Rings guys there. So, you know, we got several different factions represented.
That's like a World War Z type thing. They're just climbing over the bridge. They're just trying to get to it. And then I'm also loving mocks that showcase something on the inside too. There's so many details in here. There's some lighting down inside the rocks over here. You can really get a close look in there. And it's great for kids, especially at these shows, to see that at their own eye level. And you know, castles are great, man. Classic castles, new castles, they're all great. And what's also great, segue into the next build over here, we got a fantastic use of brick separators. You know, we all have 1,000 of those lying around. We buy $100 sets all the time. What a great use of that, having an overhang for a train station right there. It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many of those. And yeah, people are using them more and more creative. GBC modules, lots of GBC modules incorporating them. It's great. So we'll finish with that section. We'll go over now here to Hard Lug. So this is the Hampton Roads LEGO user group. And starting off with a massive airport scene here. Tons of those big tile pieces that I don't think are very cheap.
It doesn't look cheap. No. And especially having an airport to really have an appropriate scale for an airport like, you know, like a Logan Airport or a Dulles Airport, it takes up a lot of real estate. And you have to have an appropriate amount of planes. But as you can see, commercial planes, private planes, air show type of planes. There's tanker trucks over here. This is a fully functioning LEGO airport, including the airport itself down there in a very bright yellow, which I don't know many yellow airports in general, but I like the color over there. It's good.
This is I believe a Star Trek, Deep Space Nine. Yeah, Star Trek. I think. I'll be honest. I know very little about Star Trek.
Got nothing for you, man.
That's probably stunning to many people who watch these videos that I don't know a lot about Star Trek.
I got nothing. Absolutely not. Nope. We're just gonna move along here. Is that a platypus?
It's a boat platypus.
You know what? I like it. I'm loving it. It's got a nice little straw hat on there, flippers in the back. That could probably move at like 150 miles an hour, 0 to 150, like that, 10 seconds. It's great.
It's like the Tesla of the sea right there.
You know what? They should put that on the Mach card. That's great. Fantastic.
Here's a P-38 Lightning, very impressive. I mean, the tiling on there, no studs showing. That just looks amazing. They even have like the white under there to kind of give that cloud effect. I love that.
There's a fantastic amount of military vehicles here, and that's one of them. That's awesome.
Let's see, a Star Wars scene, and then a whole big train city layout. I like what they did with the rounded building here, John, if you come back a little bit. I always love when people try to get shapes like that aren't, generally easy with Lego.
It really makes me feel bad about my lack of creativity. Seeing people take a square block and make it more rounded is such a mindset to get into, and not only that, but to execute it well. Like, that is a very 2020 looking building right there in design style. I see that all around of my hometown of Boston, Massachusetts. Down in Cambridge, I see that everywhere. That's totally accurate and awesome.
Shout out to the folks watching from Boston.
Shout out to Beantown, baby. Anyways, we're gonna move on down toward these. We got a nomination for Best of Landscape right here. We got some square trees here, reminiscent of Minecraft. Nice little square park here. Lots of color, and that's also what I love to see in a lot of these displays, is just a massive amount of color that contrasts, it just makes you feel happy,
right?
In a good way,
I do feel like there's so many incredible Lego colors out there, and that a lot of these builds, like especially space builds, some of the military and stuff, they're real to life and they look amazing, but they fail to use so many of those incredible colors, and so you miss out on a lot of that.
With a lot of the military vehicles, they're not flying through the air at coral pink, so it's like they got to stay accurate, but it also is Lego. You got to take some creative liberties, but checks and balances of both.
And then this big, what I think is a lighthouse. Yeah, it's the Old Cape Henry Lighthouse. I love this because they were able to offset those tile pieces there to create a really nice texture look.
That's a very easy way to make a textured look as well. Like, even offsetting it just a little bit, it may drive some people's OCD through the window, but it does make it look that much more authentic to what a lighthouse, how it actually looks.
And then a Duplo pirate ship, so not something you see real often, but there's also a Duplo castle over there, so this section kind of all fits together.
The molding on this is so massive, I almost thought it was like Playmobil for a hot second, and I'm like, well, that's not illegal. That's not legal. But I didn't even know they made that. When was that a thing?
That's a great question. I don't know if it says on the mock card there. It doesn't. I don't think it says like when that's from, but right.
Because I kind of want that a little bit. I mean, if a little kid has that playing in the tub or something, or even I have it playing in the tub, that's awesome. That's great. And like these castles here, it's awesome to see the contrast between Duplo and regular Lego brick. Not enough people do that in general, no matter what the display is. It's almost like, you know, Duplo is for the little kids, but like there's creative ways to implement both, you know?
Right. And here, this whole scene is so great because it's the contrast of the original yellow castle with like crazy black Duplo castle, and it's just like two very, very different styles.
You have all the people who are in their 30s and 40s who are like, oh, the yellow castle's the best. And then the new kids who are like 5 are like, no, Dad, this is the real good castle. And they're all going to fight on the bridge. They're trying to make amends right here on this small little drawbridge. I don't think it's going to work. Both forces are very ready for battle, it seems.
Having like a Bridge of Spies moment there where it's like, let's meet on the bridge and see what we can work out.
Yeah, who's going to cave first? I'm thinking the yellow castle guys are going to cave first.
They're like half the size of the Duplo guys.
If they could just step on them, boom, done.
So then some more castle around. Oh, wow, look at this. So the mountain is like in the shape of a giant like lizard dragon thing.
I think that's a crocodile.
Oh, wow, you're probably right. You know what?
I know it's been a long day, guys, but hey, I've had a long day too. No, but it's definitely a crocodile. Okay, you know, it's just like that's awesome. It's great to, it's good.
Right, I mean, there's great rock work, and then there's rock work in the shape of an animal with a castle on top of it.
Right, that's awesome. And also, especially with this one right here, notice that a lot of the pieces on here are discolored pieces, normally what people would discard. They wouldn't even bother with those pieces, but clearly they're still of use, and especially in this case here, it adds a lot more authenticity to the castle. It really shows age, like it's been there for a couple hundred years.
This is a jousting scene, so let's see, the jousting's up there, but it's like Imperial guys, there's knights, there's Nexo knights, it's like in a harbor type of thing, there's just a lot going on here.
There's a ton, and you know what, this is what happens when you let creativity run rampant, and you know what, I'm all about it. Because so many people here, to their credit, have fantastic displays that are incredibly well articulated and planned, but like this is just like, let me see what I got here, put it all together as best I can, and it looks fantastic for that reason.
And then here's kind of an old like wooden palisade scene built up with kind of on a hill, and then you've got all the nice farm rows there out in front.
You know, for as disheveled as that village looks, the farm is totally like perfectly aligned, so hey, credit to them. But
they take their farming seriously, even if their town looks a little run down.
Hey, because if it snows out and you lose all those crops, well, it's not good. But I mean, the colors in that village are fantastic. What's that like? What's the name of that color? The dark red right there.
Yeah.
Dark red.
Sure, let's go with dark red.
It's dark red. I'm sorry, internet. I don't know all the colors as much as I built Lego.
I stopped trying to keep track a long time ago.
And if we'll both get flack in the comments, but great use of color in there. Really contrasts with all the green, bright green farmland down in front.
Also, the old Lego guy chair here. You know, sometimes these shows they do a number on you. You just got to be able to relax.
Hey, man, listen. That's what it's all about. If I could be sitting in this chair right now, walking around with you guys, I would. I can't be. I got to be on my feet and ready to go. So let's just continue on here. Let's see what we got.
A cathedral with stained glass. Now, I mentioned this in a lot of our tour videos because I just love the Lego stained glass effect. And I know I say this in a lot of videos, so people are probably tired of it, but I never get tired of seeing that. When you get those like very bright, multicolored, like window-looking pieces into a Lego build, I just think that looks amazing.
And that's a prime opportunity for a lot of these creators to implement a lot of lighting, especially at events like this. All the lights go down. It's World of Lights. It's really an opportunity to showcase those colors shining through the window. And I think that's a great opportunity for Lego to make more stained glass type pieces. In the new Harry Potter set, the clock tower, there's like a semi-translucent piece in the bathroom. So those type of things used in sets like this is going to make that have even more character to it. And those lights that need to be added inside, That's the icing on the cake right there. And speaking of Harry Potter, I'm full of these segues, baby. Here we go. We got some Harry Potter action going on here. Shout out to Harry Potter, one of my favorite Lego themes of
making a resurgence, you know, new wave.
The new figures, the new sets are fantastic. The prices, the pieces, the characters, I'm all about it. And you can see this dragon here is nibbling on the Hungarian horntail here. I don't know who's going to win that battle, but it's a really nice combination of the old Harry Potter, new Harry Potter, but also adding on to that Grand Hall. That's about, or Great Hall rather, that's like 2 of them combined, I think. That's awesome.
And then we go across the aisle to just what is an insane display of Lego spaceships here. Truly incredible. So I know at least one of these is Battlestar Galactica. I guess we've got a Babylon 5 and then a Satellite of Love.
Excuse me? I got a bone to pick with you.
We're just going to move on from there now.
There it is. There it is. No, but to build something at this scale is a feat in itself. I mean, especially for this one that's shaped in an actual bone. That's probably like fit for like a T-Rex at that point. Actually, a fun thing for all of you at home to know, unfortunately, it's not happening right now, but that purple ship back there, that drum does spin. That whole entire thing is mechanical. And the amount of effort and energy and batteries that thing must go to, and it's just, I'm getting a headache thinking about it. I don't know if it's a lack of sleep or thinking about it, but yeah.
All of it combined, Brian.
That's what it is, yes, exactly.
But yeah, ships of this size, just the work and the thinking that goes into those just blows me away. And it doesn't matter how many times you see a ship like this. There's some really incredible, you know, spaceships on display at this show. It's just always amazing.
It's a passion of the fan base from whatever it is. It be Babylon 5, Battlestar Galactica. You know, that's what really shines through and makes for an impressive model. I love it.
And then we've got another kind of like Cloud City type of thing going on here.
There's a Rancor in here. That's not accurate to the movies. Maybe in like a video game. No.
Gonna have to call you out on that one.
And there's this guy in here. And the Ugnaughts are getting torn limb from limb over here. Oh, geez. That's not great.
Let's see then. I think we finish out this section with Batmobile. So this is like a bunch of Batmobiles. It's a Bat Cave. You got some Wayne Manor there, some of everything.
That's quite a bit of everything there. Implementing a lot of the sets over the years. You know, you got the a lot of Lego Batman movie stuff in here. You know, you got the T-Rex, you got the Penny in there, the Joker card. There's really so much that Lego has done officially with Batman that even putting together a bunch of these sets, you're going to get an incredibly expansive Bat Cave. And as you can see here, that's a modified Joker Manor up at the top there. So yeah, it's just a great mashup of all the Batman stuff.
And let's see, I think that finishes out Hard Lug, so we'll go over here to Con Lug. So a lot of these, if you haven't picked up on it by now, they kind of split this out by lug at BrickFair. So you'll see a lot of this stuff is all kind of grouped that way. But we'll start right here with this town area. So they actually just built roads all around it, so it's kind of own individual section.
Yeah, having those roads be the way that they're built requires so many more pieces than you might think. And it really does make a difference, especially compared to the Lego Store bought road pieces. This is an incredible amount of effort went into there. And I'm not familiar with the show, but that Bob's Burgers location, I'm sure, is special in the hearts of many of you watching out there. Just a very nice contained street corner right here. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, let's go on the inside real quick and maybe get some insight from some of the builders standing nearby here. So come down this direction. So what do you have here?
Well, this is the Conlug display. We've got a variety of modular buildings from our members. We've got a tram designed by Cam using the new coaster track.
One of a kind.
There you go. Very nice. So, you know, using the new pieces, always updating it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's interesting to see how, you know, this is relatively new, and there's a couple other layouts that have, you know, new trains like this, and everyone's trying to figure out ways to use this to make something.
We've had a lot of really good feedback of people asking about, you know, how did you do this? How did you achieve this? What's making it go? How is it motorized and whatnot? And this actually started from a video that I watched online from JK Brickworks. And I tried his method actually first, and I found that there were some nuances that maybe didn't work the best. So I redesigned the motor and redesigned the gearing. And as you can see, it works pretty well.
JK Brickworks is such an inspirational, awesome builder. That's so cool.
I'm glad that you actually figured something out for this track here, because it's such a a fresh new idea, and it's I think it's the closest we're going to get to like a monorail for a little while at least. So at least there's that there. But you did an awesome job.
How expensive monorail track is, right? So nobody wants to be spending that much. So this is a really nice alternative using the new parts. You know?
Thank you so much. Keep up the good work. Come around the corner here, and it looks like we've got Dave back here with all of your rides. So how are these running?
Actually, they were doing fairly well. They just had to recharge, as you can see.
Oh no! Oh no!
F's in the comments.
For real? Okay, never mind.
The important thing is you tried. Well, thank you. Oh, it's going great. Yes, we'll just keep moving now. Oh, there you go. So that's much more important. You were not. Which building was nominated for an award? Oh, the twisting one. That is very cool. Yeah. Well, great work. Congratulations. There we go.
It'll get edited out. Don't worry. We're not gonna edit. There it is.
Thank you. But yeah, these buildings all along here are really cool. So there's a number of different ones with like very unique colors. The pink building. I mean, how often do you see a building that size in pink?
You know, there's actually a building near where I live. There's like an apartment building that's actually entirely pink. So I've seen it before.
Okay.
But not in Lego. Not in Lego. That's pretty impressive. Shout out to the incredible amount of cats over here. How many Bricklink orders could you have possibly gotten together for that amount of cats? That's amazing. One of my catchphrases is you got to meow it out, just to toss that in there. You know, so like this makes me feel at home. It's great.
I love it. I love it. This tower here is really great. I feel like it's a very like regal looking building with kind of the dark blue, the yellow, and then that dark red look. I like it.
See, anything higher than this like Helix Tower over here, I would have trust issues putting that tall of a tower together. But honestly, as a building technique, like that is such an incredible amount of trust you need to have in yourself or your team together. Like if that thing goes tumbling down, you're looking at easily 2 or 3 hours of repair time. So that's an incredible effort right there that blends well with the city overall.
Did you work on some of these buildings here?
Yes, I did, actually.
What interesting insights can you provide?
That's actually a chimney.
Oh, okay.
So,
sorry for misrepresenting your build.
Well, it's a little big for a chimney, but that's what Andy did. Is he did a replica of a chimney. The specifics are on the card over there. Let's see, and I worked on the blue Space Needle, which is currently not working. So had we known you guys were coming, I would have turned it on so that it would be rotating because the restaurant rotates inside. We nicknamed the pink building the Pepto-Bismol World Headquarters.
That's amazing. I love it. Awesome.
That comes from Steve Dorner, one of our members. Let's see.
What about some of the smaller stuff maybe here? I feel like when in this type of layout, the bigger buildings always get a lot of the attention. It's easy to overlook some of this stuff.
Right. So Andy did a couple replicas of actual places like Nick's Nest, which is in Hadley, Holyoke, Mass. That's an actual restaurant. That's a replica. The building right in front, where just behind the cats, that's where Andy works. The building that I'm going to put the steeple on.
Quick modification here.
Because I turned the lights off, so there's lights inside to light the stained glass windows. But if you look at it from this direction, that's actually St. Peter's Episcopal Church in Weston, Massachusetts on Route 20. And I drive by it every day going to and from work, and I was like, oh, I should build that because it's made out of brick. Normally in Massachusetts and New England, most of the churches are white. This one was in brick in the dark red. It worked really well, so that all came together there. And then, of course, you can't forget Suze Eaton's rocket, Friends. I'm not sure. What does she call it?
It's just like a house launching off there.
5 blast off is what the tag says, and so that's actually a really cool and interesting build that she did. Linda Dallas did the 3-story triple deckers. This is from the neighborhood where she grew up in Dorchester. They look just like that. So that's kind of a real quick synopsis of the layout.
I couldn't tell you're from Massachusetts by the way you said Dorchester.
So Yeah, so that's because it's now Adult Swim, and so my accent comes out a lot.
It's a more authentic experience there.
Exactly. It is New England. Not everyone in New England has a Boston accent, but I do.
And I do as well. I can vouch for all the authenticity of these buildings here.
Actually, there's one more quick thing. So that is a replica of the Red Line. The train isn't going, but those are Red Line T trains.
So this is inaccurate. It needs to be broken down on the side and on fire a little bit.
Yeah, the Red Line's had a lot of problems lately. The switches, it was an accident, and the switches were broken, and the train. Yeah, my son had lots of horror stories of riding the Red Line, but that doesn't deter from the fact that someone built it. Actually, Linda's husband, Jonathan, built a replica of it, and it looks just like the real thing.
Yeah, I can totally vouch for that too. Even without the fire and flames, it looks great. It does look great.
No, thank you, Mike. That's really good to know. Thanks for the insight. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks.
Keep up the good work. Come around here. I think this just about finishes this section out for us then. We've got the fake moon landing here. I always love seeing people doing that.
This is the real moon landing. Come on.
Okay,
That's what it is right there.
Yes. Thank you for that insight, Brian.
But I loved when the lander first came out. That's one of the first posts I saw on social media was like, guys, this needs to be the real set, and it was this set right here, this whole setup. It's just a good amount of humor right there. I love that.
And then here's a modified ship in the bottle. They have like a pirate ship bar, which is a super cool idea.
It's not family friendly, but it's great. It's good.
I feel like Jake Sadovich's original Lego Ideas project has been so inspirational. I've seen so many variations on that ship in the bottle.
And you can get so many AFOLs trying to construct whatever. I've seen the Millennium Falcon with the X-Wing, the Slave One, anything and everything, and you can toss that on your mantle, and it looks great.
Yeah, and then the Polar Express, so a great winter scene here. I mean, all the iconic parts of Christmas.
Yeah, speaking of sitting by the mantle with a hot cup of cocoa there, you got the Polar Express, an incredibly iconic train here, which is apparently by nobody because it's all crossed out there. It's from Londonderry, New Hampshire. So
the names are on the description part. I think they probably wanted to declare, yeah.
It's been a long day. So I'm very enthusiastic about Christmas-themed builds. I tried to make a winter village, and it blows it right out of the water. The scale of that Christmas tree is something I want in my living room and is incredibly well done here, especially with the snow, and the white lights on there really makes it all blend in with that snowy look.
Great stuff. So I think that finishes Conlog. We're going to go that direction and go towards the front. So as we've mentioned previously, and we always try to do, we try to hit every build possible at the convention during these tour videos. So we always try to not to skip anything. So I'll go in order here and hit this big section. I don't think there's any lug that I'm aware of associated with this. It's just kind of general sort of Micropolis architecture.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. So starting with these vignettes here, I think we've got Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, capturing some iconic scenes.
One of the best Spider-Man scenes right there, straight out of the movies. Lots of little bunnies everywhere, which is a great little touch. I didn't know Superman was flying amongst the bunnies, but hey, it is what it is, you know?
We'll go around here then. Some more bunnies. So this is John Lazar, and I think he's done the bunny theme throughout all of these builds.
So Lego really needs to go into this. This is an untapped market right here because they're like Mixel scale, and they're just really bad to the bone. These cats are gushing blood. Are you kidding me?
Don't focus the camera on that too long.
It's against the terms of service. You get demonetized. Anyways, moving on. Let's get this mini.
Look at this beautiful, not at all inappropriate Micropolis scene.
Yeah, it looks great, and there's so many different patterns and building styles here that it makes it look incredibly diverse, and they have a shameless plug for you right in there, in the middle.
We secretly pay a lot of builders to do that. Don't tell anyone.
I believe it, yeah. You just got to put hashtag ad in the description. You're good.
Yes, some of these are, I guess, this one's nominated for Best Micro there, so you even got some of the award nominations on display.
Yeah, and you have the curvature of what looks like maybe a greenhouse right here. That's pretty nice. You see all sorts of different scales here, and they mesh really well together. I believe that, is that a printed or like a sticker right here on this hotel maybe? Looks like that. And there's a maze too. More bunnies in the maze. These bunnies are everywhere, dude. Jeez.
They're invading everything. Some more small buildings. You've got a stadium here. Octan Center Arena. I always love Octan themed builds because it's just such an iconic part of like Lego history.
Absolutely, and I'm glad that they have finally got enough revenue that they can buy their own stadium, especially in this Lego city. The bunnies are still here. You can hop right off the train. There's a bunny right there. And, you know, the stadium may be empty right now, but it really shows what a micro-scale stadium looks like, because building one in minifigure scale is just... that's like thousands of dollars. So this would be a great scale to showcase it in. This one, and especially the one back there, which I believe is more of a football field for the international viewers out there. Both are awesome. And you actually have a couple of different scales for different buildings. You have like a concert venue over here. I believe this is a specific building.
This is it says it's the Cornerstone Chapel in Leesburg, Virginia. So there's like a photo of the build in front of the real building. So yeah, they captured all those architectural details really nicely, this building has some kind of strange angles in it.
Yeah, well, you got nothing like that up in Massachusetts, but this is an awesome building here with really nice means of creating the roof there. That's awesome.
Let's see, Crystal Castle, the Brick House, so another stadium looks like kind of in the same style. The bonsai tree nominated for best sculpture, and the tiny Parthenon.
I love seeing that diversity of color in the bonsai tree right here. Like seeing those pinks, purples, and lavenders all together. That's fantastic.
Let's hope we don't get demonetized for the music in the background, and we'll just keep moving.
We just got to keep talking. That's how I don't get demonetized. You just keep going and going. We have so many little vignettes over here by so many different Is this one guy? Nope. Is it? It's.
I don't think it's one guy.
It's one guy.
Wait, is it one guy?
There are 16 different people who made these vignettes. Some made one, some made as many as 20, and we have 101 vignettes this year. Okay. Actually, these specifically are referred to as habitats because they're general for minifigs settings.
Yes. Well, thank you for the info. Yes. When we can talk to the builders themselves, it saves us having to make everything up.
I mean, hey, exactly. I mean, some of these scenes explain themselves. You know, you got Batman, you got Harry Potter, you got a lot of scenes of Harry Potter. Who's a Harry Potter fan around here? That's awesome. I love it. Excellent. There needs to be a proper amount of Harry Potter.
I don't know if you know this, but Harry Potter's pretty popular. There's probably a couple people who are fans here.
I got to keep taking a look. And we even have Sesame Street representation down here. We got your boy Eeyore hanging out in the shack by himself. That's very on brand for him.
Hamilton. Shout out to Hamilton. They've got a scene from Hamilton there. I love it.
It really gives an opportunity for all these creators to show every single aspect of their nerdom in an awesome way. Even from the Lego store over here. It's great.
Thank you. You're welcome. So we'll then round the corner here. So this is the Washington Mall. We actually have a much more in-depth video we did on this from a show previous in the year. So if people want to see a lot more about this, then you can check out that video. But he's brought it back, and he's slowly adding to these open sections here. He's adding more buildings. But I think it's a much more appropriate show to display it here at BrickFair because we're so close to DC.
100%. There's so many museums that you can add to this, and you can really just keep going and going and going. The whole entire layout of Washington, you could make maybe this even entire section here could be the National Mall. So he did a great job representing just a small fraction of it right here.
Here we have some wearables, some Lego wearables on display, a variety of hats.
This Western hat is killer, man. The cactus, you got the vultures up here. That's the real Western stuff Lego needs to get into for official sets, man. That's all. And even the Rudolph and the antlers. I want to wear a top hat that has reindeer and Santa Claus on it. Fantastic.
In future tour videos, if we do it again, we'll have to get some wearables.
100%. Now, if you could focus the camera just over toward this way, this is a movie screen accurate Jabba the Hutt. That is actually what it looked like when they first aired the movies, and they fixed it afterwards. So that's actually what Jabba looks like, just so you know. And all sorts of other small vignettes throughout here representing A Christmas Story, another classic. You have Jurassic Park right there. I don't remember that scene, but sure. You have Fly In. Yeah, Prey, the space race. I'm just reading off the cards. We have, shout out to Avatar The Last Airbender, seeing some representation here other than the sets that LEGO officially released. Got to shout out Aang right there. Chibi Aang. Great use of that. What is that, sand blue at the very top there? Sand blue. Like, such an awesome style to showcase him in, and Avatar's great, man.
I don't know anything about Avatar The Last Airbender, but I love those sets, and it seemed like it was a really short-lived theme. They only made a few of them.
So if you're not into like anime or anything like that, that's a perfect one to get into because it's just good. It's a good show. So anyways, enough about Avatar. We have a nomination for Best Micro here. Really packed in version of Gotham City, which...
They even have the schematic there. I think they kind of based it off of that.
That's like awesome. And I'm not the biggest Batman enthusiast, but you can clearly pinpoint all sorts of buildings and locations from the games and the movies and comic books in here. It's awesome.
And I love this build next to that. The Sportsplex, it's like inside a soccer ball, I think, and there's all the different sports represented.
It's a football.
Oh, okay. Thank you for correcting me. Well, now we've represented everyone.
Right. We have to be very inclusive here on Beyond the Brick. But this is awesome, and they compacted so many different sports and different cultures into here. And you got basketball, you got what seems to be jiu-jitsu, you have even swimming in here. Like, there's all sorts of things in here. It's round. It's actually in a round container. It's a football. It's great. Well, soccer, whatever. Anyways, I'm American. Let's continue on.
Yes. Oh, we should mention, though, we're passing by them, these massive buildings in the back here. So some, like, really iconic skyscrapers over the years. In the middle here, the Chrysler Building. So I think all of these are from New York, if I'm not mistaken. So, like, New York City buildings.
Yeah, well, that's what the cards do say. They all do say New York. We have Gorilla Grodd representing not King Kong over here. And it also gives you the piece count approximately and the footprint of each of them, and then the scales of them too. They're all in 1 and 192 scale, at least for the Pine Street and Wall Street locations. And then you get even different scales as you go through these. And it's good to see them all in a line made out of, like, that. It's great.
And I think that finishes this section out, so we'll keep going over here and keep making our way around the room. There is a ton of stuff on display, but we're going to show it all to you because we've got all the time in the world tonight, right, Brian?
I got all the caffeine, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
So this whole display here, I think, is all official LEGO sets, and it's basically like a LEGO history display. So I think right now we're looking at Pirates, and then we'll get into Imperial stuff. And which sets of these did you own growing up?
Well, so I am a youngin', so actually I may be disgraced in saying none of these, actually. Okay. But I think this is important to have at a show like this. Obviously, people, make their own creations, and that's fantastic. But it's important for kids to see how LEGO has evolved over the years and the origins of a lot of these different sets. And it just gives them perspective on, like, oh, you only had a certain amount of colors back then. And wow, these are really big base molded pieces that we don't get anymore, and different themes. So it just really enlightens them, especially things that are so iconic like Fort Legarado.
Yes, we've got to spend some time on this. So this is, I mentioned in a number of videos, my all-time favorite set here. Had this growing up. I think it was the re-release. It was like the Legends series they called it when they re-released some of those sets like that.
That was in the 90s, I think. Yeah.
So like my older siblings had this, played with it a ton growing up, and just the whole Western theme in general, so awesome. I love that set. So whenever I see that on display, I just gotta give it a shout out. Then we get to some of the like woodsman stuff, kind of Robin Hood. You get the OG yellow castle right there.
That castle, I've heard so much about this castle, and so many people talk about it. It's great to see it in person, and there's actually all of the main must-have sets of this era. You got the yellow castle over here. You have Fort Legarado. There's classic space stuff and pirates. They really hit everything with this entire display here, which is great for really everyone.
Yeah. And I think I see, is this a box of some of the old Samsonite gears? So these are gears, you see these pop up in some GBC modules sometimes, but I think those are the old Samsonite gears there among some of these other quite a bit older sets here.
And these kids nowadays have no idea what LEGO used to be, so even fewer people implement gears and pieces like this because either A, they're incredibly discolored, or they're very expensive, or just very hard to come by. Even comparing the space set that you see here, number 565, to the classic space is such a leap forward, and it's good to see those two almost on the same exact shelf or table rather.
And then, speaking of iconic sets, some of these sets like the Galaxy Explorer and some of these here that are just the really well-known classic space stuff that I think got a lot of people involved in space. Some of the Blacktron, you get into M-Tron, all of this. If people grew up with these sets, I'm sure it brings back a lot of memories.
I always make fun of the older fans of Lego that I talk to, like, oh, these are all the old people sets, and I'm seeing all of them here, and they do have a certain amount of charm to them. It's good to see also that even with the newest announced Lego minifigure series, they're paying homage to a lot of these classic lines, you know? So it's good that there's some representation there, even though these themes are ancient by my standards.
And then John just showed the town there, and then we'll move across here over to this side. So it looks like some more just kind of general town layouts. So what catches your eye when you first look at these?
Well, they definitely have a cohesiveness to them. It looks like a very nice and contained street. Always appreciate the American flags that are actually wavy and not just flat bricks there. That's a very fairly simple technique there, but it adds so much more life to the model, showing like the way the wind is blowing. Even little things like that can make a massive difference.
The Happy Cactus is really cool. It's like a Mexican restaurant over here. You got like a mariachi band on the right, so getting some of that kind of real nice architecture down. A little concerned by like the giant security camera they have on the roof there.
It's 2019. You got to keep an eye on everyone, you know? Those mariachi, man, I don't know.
You got the corn maze. I'm from Indiana, so I get really excited when I see a corn maze.
I think you're one of like 3 people, because anyone from Indiana has always said, dude, there's so much corn. But seeing a corn maze in an amusement park display is like typical. Like you got to have a maze of some kind. And it's great that they implement custom things as well as the official Lego models like the Ferris wheel and the Mixer, 2 of my favorite sets of all time. It's like the Carnival in general is such a great theme. It contrasts the annual Winter Village theme. So typically we've gotten an amusement park ride of some kind, but now they're doing that in Creator 3-in-1. So we're still getting some representation there.
Down here, Octane gas station with the Octane truck. I mean, they went full on, everything there.
I got to see the price of gas on there. Just make sure it's fair. What we got? Oh, it's pretty cheap. That's pretty cheap stuff. All right, cool. It's in line. It's on brand. It's good.
It's accurate.
Yeah, it is.
Lighthouse in the back. Fire station nominated for best train/town. I love it.
Implementing the official Lego Fire signage there, which is great. It really adds, because there's so much that Lego can do in a $100 fire set. So to see a full-scale building of a fire station and then even a hospital is fantastic.
This hospital is just amazing to me because I feel like it harkens back to some of the Lego City hospitals we've seen over the years in certain ways, with kind of the big window panels and the red and white and everything. But it's just so like beefed up and so much better looking that I think it looks incredible. You don't, like, a hospital isn't something you see built out of Lego real often.
Yeah, and hospitals in general are always pretty massive, and it's almost in scale to the fire station. It really looks good side by side, even if the builders did that unintentionally. It's the same person. It doesn't matter. All of this fits very well. And yeah, the red and white for a Lego City hospital, that's iconic there.
We've got art store and studio, so it's kind of a modular stacked building.
Yep. You got people painting a thing of fruit over here, so that's pretty accurate to all the places I see that's actually a class people do. Also showing off how many shows and locations they've been at, including BrickFair Virginia 2019.
Flexing their giant brick badge.
That's what it is. We have the Virginia Tech Lumen House over here. Unfamiliar with that, but got some solar panels on top, so that's
it's apparently Virginia Tech's award-winning solar home. So there you go.
Solar panels, actually not many that you see in displays right now, so that's good to see here.
I think there's some that just came out in some of the recent space sets, right? Like some of the actual solar panel pieces.
Well, they're pieces with stickers on them, but yeah, it's fair game.
Yeah. Here's a fire in progress using some maybe not official Lego pieces, but still works.
I love that the hose is a shoelace. That's fantastic. And, it's got to come in clutch. And that's a pun on Lego because clutch power. Anyways, you have like the cotton balls and the paper mache there. That really adds like a bit of creativity to what could have otherwise been, nothing there or just a couple of flames like that. I like that. It's got some charm to it.
Yeah. And then several trains. I love the circus train here. So I've said this in a lot of our tour videos. Whenever we come across super detailed train models, I find it very hard to appreciate like a really well done train model because I just don't know what goes into it. And I think you have to be like a train builder to truly appreciate that. But the ones I do like are ones like the circus that add in cool colors and various builds and stuff on there. Then it's not just a regular looking train.
I find an incredible overlap between train geeks and Lego because so many people who love trains will create something that they've seen in real life somewhere, something that they grew up with or really admired, and then you have something like here with this circus train. It does add that much more color, and especially with these exotic animals, and that just really sets a new precedent for what they can do, and that could easily be tied into like a whole zoo or a fair or something like that. And you have a bit more realistic trains heading over toward this way, which I don't even, is this like an Amtrak train? It kind of looks like it is actually. That's a transcontinental passenger train, so not Amtrak specifically, but clearly some
in the same vein.
Definitely in the same vein. The fares are probably ridiculous on here. You have an expanded Emerald Express here, a very highly sought after set here, done by Matthew Baker. So that's great to see as well. This expanded city train as well. That's great to see.
And we'll round the corner and finish this section off with some this is an old classic style Lego house there. So those red roof tiles I feel like just really give that classic look.
And it's got a certain wear to it or nostalgia. It's not like the bright red you get right out of the Lego box. It's got something to it. Everything, all these colors here work very well. Just reminds you of the glory days,
And then just these kind of row houses in a lot of great colors here, and that finishes out this section for us.
Awesome, sounds good.
So starting off in this section, we actually have one of the Bricklink AFOL designer sets. So I think these have just kind of started going out to people, and you're able to actually display them at a show.
So I'm going to use your platform to express how salty I am that I haven't gotten my saloon yet. I've been waiting for 6 months, but it's great to see that these sets have gotten into people's hands, and these backgrounds are a lot crispier, more...
It's crispier, that's the word.
Crispier in image quality and in detail than I initially thought, and really contrasts really well with the sets themselves. Makes for a great display piece.
And you got the special 60 years exclusive brick that comes with it there. It's great stuff.
Great print in there.
Here's church, Chicago brick oven, nice little driveway.
You said it yourself. There it is.
There it is. That's all you need to know.
This is non-collaborative. Do not touch. It is non-collaborative. Non-collaborative. Implementing some official sets here like the old fishing store, the Ferris wheel, but a ton of custom buildings here, making for a great cityscape here. And what I love that builders do is they go ahead and get multiples of sets to really rise the height of a lot of these buildings, and adds that much more to it overall.
I find that the emphasis on the non-collaborative sign's a little strange. So are they saying like they don't want people adding to it, or they just want to make it clear that it was only one person?
Hey, man, I don't know, man. You just got to say welcome to new Fairhaven City and take it for what it's worth.
So, yeah, they had the under-the-table sections.
Hands that touch the Legos, which is not the way that you say Lego. Lego is its own word. But regardless, we'll be returned at the end of the day, so I'm missing my hand still, so I gotta check back here.
Yeah, this is a unique display here. I'm not sure who brought this. But there are some good builds. The Chick-fil-A cow representing there.
What a fantastic addition and a fantastic build. There's so many details between the minifigures, both of old and new. Again, you have a lot of the modular buildings in here, official sets.
I love the canoe going over the waterfall with all the Star Wars Hoth guys.
Reminds me like I'm at Disney. It's great. And then you have something you don't see too often, like a sewer system down here that this guy's just happily jet skiing in. This guy's swimming around in here. So it's like you're in the Charles River in Boston. It's just all the sewage just going right into the water. Really adds a layer of grime to you. It's great.
We apologize to the Boston Tourism Society.
They accept that apology. Don't worry.
We got a giant Starbucks here. Let's see. Here's just like a building, a nice building facade, sort of a post-apocalypse sort of thing.
You put some cameras and lights in front of that, easily make that into like a movie studio sort of thing.
There you go.
That's great.
This is some really nice. It looks like it's a work in progress, or maybe some of it fell apart. But I love the part that's finished here. The way they kind of stepped that up.
You know, just like my hopes and dreams, incredibly decrepit, a work in progress, I heavily resonate with this, and especially with what we have down at the end of the table here. Absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. There's a picture of a doggo, so hey, we got that and some eggs. Anyways.
This whole display here really speaks to the human experience.
It's a metaphor for my lack of success in life and how I feel on the inside, so we should just move on before I start crying.
This has gone a little too deep, Brian.
I need your audience to know how I feel. No, it's all good. Shout out to Panda Express, Subway, Dunkin' Donuts. Boston runs on Dunkin'. We got Maersk.
We're hoping if we mention as many companies as possible, one of them will sponsor us in the future.
Hey, there might as well be a Brickmania building in here somewhere. But I love that the shipping containers from Maersk are actually made into like an apartment. That really speaks to the millennial experience, getting a 200 square foot apartment in the city. It's great.
No, I remember when we visited Amsterdam a couple of years ago when John and I were there, there's like just piles of shipping containers people have turned into houses there.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. Times are tough. It's 2019, man.
That's right. You scrape and get by. Okay, so over here we've got elevated trains on the ground. I love this massive Airwolf helicopter here.
Hey, something happened at the detective office. They got to swoop in there, take care of a problem real quick. And you even got like a water tower in here that looks like maybe it's just holding water, or maybe that was meant to be that way. Anyways, it works. It's good.
It does. Some more Maersk containers on the train.
There's 5 people living in each of those containers, just so you know.
Subway cars. I don't think this is based on a real subway.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. They are from Maryland, so maybe a shout out to the Maryland subway system. I don't know.
Just the state of Maryland subway system.
There's people living in shipping containers. Shout out to Maryland. There you go.
Here's a Lego city with a nice Beyond the Brick sticker wrapping around the corner.
How many people are you people paying off? Where's my stickers? Come on now.
You just got to hand them out. The key is just hand them out liberally.
Right. Shout out to Dunkin' Donuts. Again, a Bostonian classic there. It's not just in Boston, but America does run on Dunkin'.
I think that's John Oliver in there with Last Week Tonight.
There we go. That guy is hilarious. Here's the thing. Maybe you guys know this because you're more versed in Lego themselves, but like how many like Lego stores are like outdoors in like a singular, not a flagship? Because I haven't seen a Lego store like it. Is that an original thing? Do you guys know of like?
That's not very common at all. No, they're usually in malls or something. Right. I would agree with you that unless it's like a very unique experience, that's not like that.
Yeah, like the Flatiron store and Rockefeller Center, they're all like that.
Right.
Again, displaying my hopes and dreams right over here. Moving on to...
But there's a children's candy store, and that's a beautiful thing.
That's how I feel on the inside. We have the Seamen's Church Institute, the relief ship, plenty of ships.
So these are all part of the same thing. It's called Teach Fleet, and this is like an educational ship organization. So the guy takes these around and uses them as like an educational resource in schools and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and they're all in a really grand scale here, and it really sets a good example for what kids can build here, and it's great that this effort is here. It really teaches about the fleet.
Wow. Maybe they should call it that.
Maybe they should, maybe they shouldn't. But you even have the actual dimensions of the ships here to give you a real sense of scale. And typically, the people who make scale ships like this are incredibly passionate about the original ships themselves and can really speak to it. So it's great that you have that representation here.
Good stuff. We'll come around this direction here. You can get a shot of the AFOLs hard at work. Yes.
They're doing the Lord's work right now.
Enjoying themselves.
It's not family friendly. We're moving on. What do we got? Some steampunk action going on here. A crawler. Looks like a modified pirate ship sort of a deal. Actually, there's quite a bit of steampunk action happening on these couple of tables here. I'm excited to actually go through this. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's even some props here. I love all the chrome pieces on the gun.
Yeah, I doubt those are actual Lego chrome pieces because that gun would be worth like $7,000.
You would just be picking it up off the table.
After the video's done. Come on now.
This build here, I think they changed this up throughout the show with the bikes, sort of speeder things, switching positions. So usually they all start at the finish line, and at some point they kind of move them forward. It just goes more and more, but they've had this build here, I think, for a number of years.
It's great that they have that interactivity, especially for all the public coming in here. It adds just a little bit more to the builds and a little bit more life to it.
And then nominated for Best Steampunk, Captain Salvador. I love that. Look at the like skirt piece that they use all those different like clips to make there. I love that.
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you like the techniques used there because it's so intricate. That's how amazing that looks. It's fantastic. And you even got Santa's beard right up there. That's like a minifigure piece that they're using in this almost bionicle scale figure. You got a little mini ship down there. That's great.
Character building like that just blows me away with Lego when you can get those details in there. I love it.
Absolutely. And especially like these buildings here are all based what seem to be off of insects in their own regard in different environments too. So not only did they create the ships, but the environments to accompany them and showing, some of the lackeys that are down there, some of the heroes that are down there, and just the amount of diversity in each of these different builds. And although they are all steampunk, they have unique aspects to all of them. It's fantastic.
Yes.
This guy's a work in progress over here, working on that. That's a boar? That's amazing. It's the S.
Oh yeah, when you look at it from you can see its face there.
That's fantastic. I'm hungry for some ham, man. I'm feeling it.
You got the patrol scorpion fighting the guys with the little flamethrowers there. That's sweet.
So I think the next step is to see all of these combined into one massive mock, an insect battle of the ages, because that's what I want to see. And even like the electricity shooting out of this one mech over here over into this would make for such like an epic battle scene right here. I love all this.
Yeah, those just like little plates used like that. I don't feel like you don't see that technique very often. Lots of Bionicle characters. We'll see a lot more Bionicle later on. This is the Southern Maryland lug. I like the waterfall coming down the corner there.
You're going to see on Bricklink now that the Ideas Treehouse is out, an incredible amount of foliage pieces hitting the market. Please, people, take advantage of that because they're such beautiful pieces. Even if you don't live in a region where, you get a lot of foliage like that, it makes the scene that much more beautiful and brings a lot more life to your Lego city.
That's right. Oh no! Who just came over?
Your EP. They just hire you?
Yeah. I mean, hey man, I'm working on commission here. Free branding, people.
You've been harassing.
What do you have around your neck?
You don't like this?
Did you steal that from the hotel?
I cannot endorse this non-family friendly activity that is partaking in the other hall.
Yes.
And I thought I was bad taking over the show.
We're gonna move on.
Moving on. We have a marina, a bay here. A lot of Technic pieces making up that bridge back there. That's good to see.
That is. All of the modular buildings here. So I think this is like basically every modular building ever made right here.
You have a doubled up diner over there, and it's good to see. I feel like you don't see all the official modular buildings in one solid lineup. And to see all, or at least most of them here, some of them are modified, as you can probably tell. But, seeing the brick bank next to the green grocer, and then you have, the hotel, and then you have the Palace Cinema. It's great to see this landscape and making good use of that foliage over there and the coral pieces over by the Assembly Square. Great touches overall.
And we'll jump the section here and come around the back. So got a few large sections left of the display hall. We should actually, before we start here, we should actually hit this one. So this other part of the convention hall, this year they did something a little bit different where it's all of the vendors are in here and then they just have a few builds. So we'll show the few builds in here and then keep going on the main hall. This build here I love. So this is the Mongol invasion of Japan, which I think is a really unique thing. You don't see this depicted very often.
You definitely don't, and you can see the invasion is in full force, and although there are a couple of buildings here, the articulation of the foliage and all the different colors here makes it feel a lot more authentic. The water isn't crystal clear blue. It's got this muddy, rugged feeling to it. You have, boots that are running through it, and there's clearly bloodshed as indicated by the flower piece in that one minifigure right there. So it feels very alive.
The flowers, bloody but classy still.
You got to keep it classy, always.
Yeah, and even just the the very parts-intensive roof technique there to give so much little like detail. I love it.
Everything about this is awesome. Definitely deserves a nomination.
This is a exclusive. You can only see this if you're at the show.
Yeah, so we're gonna have that be a San Diego Comic-Con viewing. We're gonna move on from here.
Here is a number of spaceships and Batmobiles. So you see some of this Batwing, Batmobile, Batman-inspired builds.
These are custom-made Batwings and Batmobiles here, definitely not from the sets. And this sideways building technique always fascinates me. It's outside-the-box thinking and makes it feel that much more smoother as compared to putting plates on there. So excellent techniques by the builder here.
So effective. Let's see. Are some of these your builds?
Yes, they are.
What do you have right here?
I have my Vex-Wing fighters, highly inspired Viper, Ex Machina, non-X-Wing, X-Wing fighters. This is the first one, the second one, the fifth one, the sixth one, the eighth one. Gotta remember the order of these. The ninth one, and number 15.
There we go. Well, thank you for sharing. Oh, okay.
I sourced a lot of YouTube videos and pictures of Batmobile. This is the best minifigure scale Batmobile. That splits into the Batmobile missile.
There you go. Very nice. Good work.
Everybody's having a grand old time. Let's check out some Minecraft, kids. We got the snow biomes. We got the nether over here. We got the mushroom biomes. There's so much actually happening here. Pirate ships. There's combining the official minifigures as well as the pigmen. You have so much representation here for Minecraft. And although it may seem simple to put together a bunch of like 2x2 bricks and 2x4s, there have been people who have made incredibly expansive Minecraft displays out of just basic blocks. It's great for something to get into, even if you don't have a lot of resources or techniques. It's great.
I appreciate your Minecraft knowledge. That's very good. So we can actually lend some expertise there.
Yes, exactly. Oh, anyone who may know my content, many a Minecraft video.
Okay, and then this is mostly all castle around here. So we'll start right here with the Tower of Kings. I like the drawbridge there. Nice steep incline.
And nice use of foliage here as well. A lot of verticality with it. You got the dragon on top. Just a very awesome rendition of a castle there. No, it's not too wide. It's a tall one. It's got some verticality.
Macy's Fortified Chapel next to that not only has the stained glass, but it's also just got the whole Nexo Knights aesthetic going on, which is pretty crazy.
And you got the pearly golden gates right in the front there. That's where I would want to go for a chapel for sure. As well as Axel's Spider Foundry, which I guess... What's so spidery about it? I don't know. There's track and a mallet. I don't know. But hey, it looks cool regardless. Shout out to Nexo Knights. Rest in peace. We have Keeping Watch over here.
One solo minifig on the tower.
Yep, Keeping Watch, as the name of the build
is. The card was very descriptive.
Hey, man. It is what it is, and that's how it's going to be. We have the Forced Ambush, again describing exactly what it is here. Just showing the absolute carnage that battle can bring to it.
Here's a little Monty Python with a little, I like the quote written on the build there. That's great.
I think he misspelled hamster. Hampster. Anyways, we're going to move on there. Here we have Robin's vampire ship. You don't see a ton of white pirate ships, especially with the translucent green. This looks like a ghostly ship. It's awesome.
No, I love this. You could do like a whole theme around that. I think that's super cool.
Very reminiscent of like, I'm getting like Monster Fighter vibes from it, kinda.
Definitely ghostly.
Yeah, and you have, speaking of ghostly, I guess, you have Aaron's Cafe, Absinthe. What's that word? Say it for me.
Absinthe.
And there it is. You got a bar inside of here, piano. Lots of ghouls and scoundrels apparently walking inside of here, looking to catch a brew from the monster, or rather, the robot bartender here. It's been a long day, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to move on to the Forest Patrol here. We got some Lord of the Rings action happening around here. And there's Gamorrean Guard. There's a Wizard of Oz here. There's a lot of brand...
The Wizard of Oz characters always fit in.
There's a lot of brand integration happening here. It's LEGO Dimensions all over again. And especially you have Obsidian Cull talking to some There's a lot happening here. But it's a great battle scene and also a great use for a waterfall over here. It's simple, but incredibly effective.
That's right. That's what I like to see. Castle Kingdom, you got the big high walls there. It's always cool. You got the man. It's a very fortified garden he has over there.
He's really passionate about those crops, man. You gotta be. It's tough out there.
So this is really cool with the very smooth water. So the water can be done in so many different ways, a lot of parts dumping, that sort of thing, but they just went like, snot style, just all smooth.
And you see the ice cream pieces used as the foam around the edges of the water. That's something I've never seen before because so many people would just put a bunch of 1x1 studs in there that are translucent blue and call it a day. But the snot technique with that ice cream top is a really great combination.
And round the corner here, looks like they're invading there and have some buildings burnt down. I like this, the shield kind of has the emblem on there.
That's not a printed piece, but that's fine. Oh, here we go. We have frequently asked questions ending with no. Is this Lord of the Rings? Absolutely not. Is this Star Wars? No. Pirates? There's a lot of negativity happening right here. Is this from a book? Why would it be from a book? Who reads anymore? Is this from a movie? I mean, they probably want it to be. Is this from a graphic novel or comic? No. So shout out to Nicholas Randall for just telling it as it is here, man. And I mean, he got the Best Castle Knights nomination there, so I guess it paid off for him, just setting the bar there. It looks like, are people's head? This guy's head is flying off in a bloody catastrophe.
Oh no, we can't show that on YouTube.
This isn't demonetized again. Are you kidding me? Jeez, mamma mia.
We appreciate that builder just keeping it 100 with the folks there with the signage.
You gotta be, and that's a great use for that red bush there.
Yeah, it really is. This build we featured more in depth in the past as well, so we have a more in-depth video. But this is really cool with the lava, and then I think some of this might actually move. I think some of these towers and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen it motorized before, and I love that Smog is down there with the massive amount of gold. I haven't seen many mocks personally where that scene is expanded upon, so that's cool to see that. And magma everywhere, awesome.
Right. And then a tiny Dead Marshes Lord of the Rings build, mountaintop fortress.
Oh,
so
excuse me, gentlemen. We got some Legend of Zelda representation here.
No.
Are you?
Can I take this? Yes, you can take the mic.
This is from Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Hateno Ancient Tech Lab. This is where you go for integral parts in the Breath of the Wild game. I have had many moments where I'm taking that blue flame all the way up there to ignite it and get the pieces that I need to continue on my journey. And you even have, shout out to the detail on here, the Korok at the very top, the Nahahai that you have, and obviously you can upgrade your inventory with that right there. Such an awesome build, and if you see this gone by the end of the weekend, you know exactly where it is. It's in my car going back to Boston.
That was beautiful. I love the in-depth analysis of that build there. Appreciate it. Yes. Now over here we have a really incredible build. This combines awesome rock work, which I love, with really incredible foliage and flowers, which is super cool. So all of this comes together just really great.
Shout out to the dragons and creatures and elves, man. Such a fantastic line. You get so many great molds for dragon heads and colors that really just open the door for so many different types of magical creatures in Lego form, and you clearly see that showcased here, especially these boats on fire. So you have you have these happy dragons here that are just trying to defend their fortress, and death and destruction here. Great contrast for society.
David Hall, hard at work. Hey. Look at this, creating content for all of you out there. I mean, awesome stuff. So how's the show going for you so far?
Oh, are you doing the tour? Oh, okay.
All the famous people on the tour today, oh boy.
Yeah, so I'm setting up this crazy setup with this. This is a lens. This is the end part right here.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's like a sniper scope or something you got on there.
Yeah, I was really hoping nobody would call the police or anything on me with this thing. But what's really cool is they call it a probe lens, so you can actually stick it into things. So don't mean to be any no puns here. I know it's Adult Swim time. Anyhow, but no, you can get these crazy perspectives because it's a wide angle macro lens.
Wow.
So let me just set this up really quickly.
We're just gonna take 10 minutes and do a camera tutorial in the middle of the tour.
No, I just want to show you when I pull it in, you're getting these crazy perspectives as if you were really there. like that. So I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. So I've been kind of filming all kinds of different Lego creations with this setup. So it's gonna be a fun video.
So if you want to see that footage, where should they go?
Solid Brick Studios, BRX. So hit me up, guys.
Just Google it, you'll find it. Don't worry.
Are you at the end of the tour?
No, we've actually got a fair amount in the other room. We just stopped in here to do the builds in this section. So yeah, we're trying to do everything. That's our goal.
Good luck, man. Good luck. Good luck, guys.
Good luck for you as well.
Only 11:17 right now.
We got plenty of time.
Well, yeah, it doesn't close till 2 a.m., right? I mean.
Oh yeah. We're ready. I'm ready to go. The Coke Zero is still in full effect. We're good. Don't worry.
I think we actually did just finish up in this room, so we're gonna keep going.
Excellent.
Yes. I don't know how many sections we've got left. We're gonna do it.
I'm ready to run. I'm still ready. I'm just as ready as I was 3 hours ago.
I love your enthusiasm, Brian. This is great. This is keeping me going.
Listen, if I get to be in a Beyond the Brick video, what more could you want? It's fantastic.
Exactly.
I mean, you could want to be as creative and talented as Sean Kinney over here.
But who would want that?
Not many people. But, I mean, he has it, so that's all that counts, with some incredible sculptures here that I was on the move crew for. Talk about a pain in the butt to unload these things. But it was clearly worth the effort, because these are fantastic set pieces that he can display here, as well as everything else that we're going to take a look at in a second, with detailed descriptions down here. I mean, he's been hanging around his booth all weekend, so you get a chance to talk to him if you can, but you get to see a little bit of the design process, and the ability to pick someone's mind that works this way is an experience in itself.
What I love about this is actually, I believe, his wife and 2 kids that he depicted on the build here. And I think he said even like this bike is the bike he has in New York City that he rides around on.
What better inspiration for a build than your own family?
There you go. So yeah, he came out and we've actually got a number of his builds here. So you've got the duck and ducklings here that are really neat. A couple of Lego cars.
Gotta zoom, man. Zoom.
This is like a human bust. Chrysler building, so the second or third Chrysler building we've seen here.
And we have some working lamps over here.
Yeah. You can light up your house with Lego lamps. A mosaic in the back. Kind of looks like the one collectible minifig robot.
Yes, exactly. And we're moving into a section. This is by Arthur Gujic, who unfortunately passed away in 2019, but he happened to have his showcase here for all of his various artwork that he's done over the years. So it gives people a great opportunity to appreciate his work that he's done for the community over the years, and his work with tiles to make these portraits for like Silence of the Lambs. You got, so many different pictures over here. You got Starry Night. Such incredible techniques here that you really got to zoom in and appreciate. Even with the discolored brick, it just adds that much more authenticity to the build. And people have come out to BrickFair Virginia 2019 and really been able to appreciate his work. So it's great to see that it's showcased here for everyone in the con.
Yeah, I'm so glad he kept a lot of these together, and then they can still go on display here in memory of Arthur, because his work really was incredible here when you look at all the different types of mosaics and builds he was able to do, and the way he worked with like mathematical equations to figure some of these things out is just amazing.
Yeah, and it makes it more of an art piece, which is great. And even the tiling work done on this piece back here, math as art, like even seeing that and the way that the pieces are laid out, it just adds something special about it that you don't see in a lot of mosaics.
And then
we have a lenticular over here, going from Daffy Duck to someone else who may be iconic for Looney Tunes over here. Great to see Looney Tunes representation. And lenticulars, I feel like some people would say they're easy, some people would say they're very difficult. I think they're really difficult, but such a great payoff for something like this, especially for cartoon characters that I think should have a Lego theme, but that's just my own bias. And you get to see over here that people are remembering Arthur by having some great words of kindness here. People have been showing up all over the weekend to
light memories and that sort of thing.
Exactly. Everything. It's awesome.
Yeah. So we'll keep looping around the back here, and then we'll kind of make our way back through some of the displays. So a couple of buildings here. Let's see, on the left we've got Mormon Temple, and then to the right of that is one of my favorite builds. I really love this. This is Mount Vernon, and it's got the main kind of mansion, and then some of the side buildings here and everything, and all of the main, like George Washington is right up front there, and a number of his slaves and other people depicted here in the build.
Yeah, a great use of discolored pieces on the first building right over here. It's like saves you a ton of bricklink orders just by incorporating that into your build and really adding a sense of authenticity to it. And any historical scene really gives perspective to other builders and especially kids at these sorts of events to really give some insight as to what it was like. And you see a lot of maybe custom printed pieces in here. Really, this captures what it was like back then, but in Lego form.
Yeah, I think the builder did a great job capturing all those details. And then this covered bridge, so amazing. The way the builder dug out the water, again, using the studs not on top techniques, the nicely layered rocks there, everything just looks so like smooth and immaculate.
You're going to see this in a Lego calendar with a very nice picture taken of it, maybe a little bit of fog in there because it looks so picturesque and definitely deserves that nomination there. Just great building techniques overall. Again, the foliage in there, not even using foliage pieces, but it makes it add so much more character. I'm telling you guys, you got to go full into foliage.
Yeah, using the 2x2 round pieces, it makes a much thicker type of technique.
Yeah, for sure.
Here's a Frank Lloyd Wright house from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Then you've got the Memorial Day mosaic. I think we're entering into the mosaic section.
So let me take a second right here.
Yes,
So
I'll
this
take
is
off the mic.
so this is Shiny Umbreon. This is number 197 from Generation 2 of Pokemon. One of the evolutions here. Great style here. It's like a cross-stitching sort of style. So this is something I have never seen in Lego form before, and you kind of have to step back a little bit just to appreciate what it is. And I mean, even if you're not a Pokemon fan, you can tell it's supposed to be this cross-stitching sort of a deal. And the fact that it's Shiny Umbreon, a great Pokemon in general, great to see it showcased in Lego form here.
I 100% agree with everything you said. That was definitely all true.
And I hope you don't mind me taking the mic when it's something I know, and I'm like, all right, let me just do this real quick.
There's no point in me just pointlessly standing there.
Okay, as long as we're on the same wavelength. I don't want to overstep boundaries, but okay.
This Hot Wheels is so cool. I mean, not only did they get the lettering in there, but they shaped the whole thing like the logo, which is not easy to do.
You could see that hung up in a store just as it is. It looks so authentic to the actual Hot Wheels logo.
Agent Carter here, small mosaic, but really well done with the pieces intricately put in there at angles to capture that. And it's almost just like a silhouette.
And this is another one of those builds that I don't have many insight on because it's so articulate and so well done that my mind can't even process the building techniques into there. That's how fantastic it looks, and it absolutely deserves that nomination, and I hope that wins. That's one of the better ones I've seen.
Shout out to Kodiak Sanders on that one. And we've got nominated for Best Mosaic, you got Steve Jobs, Taylor Swift, you got a Vermeer painting. Let's see what else. We got like a kid.
You got this kid, you got Deadpool, and a iguana.
The mosaic section is always just like such a wild ride when you walk through because you never know what you're going to see next.
It's quite the wild ride there. I mean, there's so many different types of mosaic that you can make, and it shows the creativity that you can have. Like these are all custom weapons here representing Deadpool, and you have what I'm assuming is meant to be conveyed as blood going around the sides here, even though it's not family friendly, but you have so many custom pieces there, and then you do have a bit more of a classic mosaic, and especially in this scale, these can be quite the pain to transport in between shows.
You've got the Rainbow Create with like crayons at the top.
And it seems like 3 different types of building there. You have the standard mosaic sort, and then the Create sign snot style and the crayons. That's fantastic. You have the Equality, which is a work in progress, a very powerful piece representing equality. That is obviously a work in progress, especially in 2019. And you have Lily, which is a doggo. Great little mosaic of a doggo there in a bunch of different colors. Shout out to how I train my dragon, I wish. How to Train Your Dragon, obviously from DreamWorks there. A fairly detailed mosaic, even though it's not in a massive scale here, you can really get the details on Toothless there.
I'm a little concerned. It looks like the middle there is popping out. Those top plates look like they might be about to come out.
Hey, man, we're just recording the video. That's not our responsibility. You show up Sunday morning, something happens, I don't know, man.
There's a lenticular of Mount St. Helens.
Got some kitty cats.
Cat collection.
There it is. Some kitty cats.
So this is the Pharaoh Egypt layout, and this has been a lot of different variations over the years here at this show, and they always kind of set it up differently.
Yeah, Egypt, I feel like, isn't something you see a lot in Lego builds, and to see the pyramid in this scale and have it be as smooth on the sides here, I'd love to see the builder take off a side panel just so I can see what it looks like, because even to set this up for any show or even in your home is just an incredible effort here, and the amount of like culture that's just captured here. You know, you have obviously, you know, the pharaoh being taken into the tomb. You have explorers going into here. You have Emmett walking out of here. Like, there's so many little details. Shout out to Johnny Thunder. Like, you have so many little details in here across all of these different vignettes here. They almost look like they're modular, and you can make like a massive pyramid out of these themselves, and it's all sorts of, you know, super ancient old stuff. But then you have this giant Ring of the Gods here, and you have the TARDIS landing and Indiana Jones sort of stuff. So just awesome stuff happening across the board here.
Did you see the new Series 19 collectible minifig that looks like an updated Johnny Thunder?
You know, I'm happy about that, man.
Yes,
that
looks
that,
awesome.
that makes my soul feel good, as well as the pizza. The pizza
Yes.
man. That's where my soul feels like most content.
That's where you're most comfortable. Then we've got Sphinx down here, which is always cool to see. A little Atlantis under the water. Statues. Somebody's trying to blend in there.
I don't think that's working too well.
Got the Scorpion Tomb, kind of a labyrinth going on there. I love this. This is like the Babylonian ziggurat here, which just has the iconic kind of brick pieces and then the stairs going up and up and up to the big like golden statue at the top.
Yeah, but we don't know how historically accurate this is. There's no pictures of back then. We only have ruins to base this off of, but it is obviously an important period of time that needs to be represented in Lego form, especially right next to all the Egyptian-themed builds over here. This is a great one for sure.
You've got Presidents Washington and Madison next to that, kind of brickheads. Sagrada Familia there in Barcelona. That's super cool. So it seems like it's being perpetually worked on, but it'll be finished soon, I'm sure.
We got some foliage, baby. Here it is. Good stuff here. This is going to be nominated for Best Historical as well. Just a multi-height, multi-layered build here, which is awesome to see. And sometimes people have different means of, you know, cutting off a build, whether that just be a mountainside or covering it up with something else, but just cutting it off right to the black, it really just makes it seem like just like a chunk of the land, and it adds something more artistic about it, I feel like.
Yeah. No, this builder is so amazing. He's captured the way he did the different levels with the mountains and everything, and then also just the Japanese architecture that isn't captured very often. Another thing that isn't captured very often is the Spanish-American War, and this is a great battle from in Cuba, from the Spanish-American War here, and so you see, you know, unique looking American soldiers that you don't see very often. It's very different than like your World War type of soldiers.
Yeah, and great use of the bush up there for the trees. What color is that? I'm drawing a blank on that.
Like the dark tan?
Yeah, dark tan. Dark tan bushes up there to really add something else to the trees. That's fantastic. And to capture this era of time, again, is something you don't see very often at all. So, and even like I've said before about other builds, it's not crystal clear blue water. It's very, the tone is very much set with this build here.
People like to romanticize the water in all their builds, when in reality, most water looks kind of awful.
Yeah, honestly, overall, unless you go to Aruba or something, but how many of us go to Aruba? Come on, we're stuck in our spare bedrooms or basements building away at our next Mach. Come on, we all know it.
And earlier today, there's actually like a big War of 1812 build here that it looks like maybe sadly they took away, but it was very cool. That's unfortunate if they took that build away, but the builders might have had to leave.
Yeah, you know, people got to do what they got to do here at BrickFair. It's all good.
So in this section over here, we have the community garden, which I think is a first for BrickFair. I don't think they've ever really done this before.
I don't have much BrickFair experience. You guys would know better than I do, but it's great to see the community come together at events like this and really diversify the foliage here, because you know that I'm a fan of that. Even a brick separator tree out in the background there. Awesome to see.
And the goal was to get someone to build just like anyone could build a tree, just place a flower, anything like that. So it's quite literally a garden built by the community.
Not by the public, because then all the kids' little grubby paws get over all in, and that's a bad time.
Monorail, representing the different space themes. People love the layouts that represent like the 4 or 5 main like classic space themes.
I'm not super old, so I don't get it. But I mean, hey, you do what you got to do, you know.
You don't want to say that too much. You might alienate some of our audience
Well, they can direct all the hate to my channel. I'll embrace it fully, just like this alien is embracing the Earth here. This incredibly massive lit up column that some Mars aliens are coming in and trying to abduct some people. Oh, they're trying to make peace down here. Oh, isn't that adorable?
It's a beautiful thing. Don't look at that too long. It might like give you a stroke.
Yeah, or epilepsy. You don't want to do that.
Nice little water scene. This is a much more colorful UFO.
A lot of diversity in this UFO, quite literally, and having this level of illumination in your build makes it stick out. As soon as you walk into BrickFair, you just see this massive UFO, and then this one accompanying it makes it stand out among a lot of the other things at BrickFair.
Round the trash can, as always. I saw a Dunkin' box in there.
Hey, that might have been me earlier, man.
I love these like face sculpture silhouettes. That's like a style, I don't know if I've seen much of that before, with just like one stud wide.
Yeah, you could take that the entire way and really make an entire, even mosaic out of that if you wanted to.
Yeah. These buildings look great together here with all the similar facades. That's really cool.
Yeah, definitely some custom printing all over here to really add some flavor to the storefronts here. Very nice.
Got some big crane action.
You know, apparently, whenever you see a big crane in a city, that means the city is doing financially well because new buildings are going up. The city's thriving. So this city is thriving right here with new buildings being put in place right over there. Good to see for this display here.
You got the Legoland Theater, I think?
That's where the Lego Movie 3 is going to premiere in like 2027.
Hey, they got to spend time to make quality films.
That's exactly it.
Statue of Liberty, is that the official kit?
No, I think people really wished that was the official kit because that's in a much grander scale, and that's almost similar to the scale of the Statue of Liberty that came out many, many years ago. But the architecture one is quite a bit smaller, especially considering that base down there.
Yeah. Nice. Some great colors here. It's like all the purple and pink shades on display.
You got to have a lot more color in like cities in real life, and it's good to see that in Lego too. Just, you know, make it feel a bit more happy, you know?
And the Ronald McDonald, that was an official, I believe, set at some point.
And you know, Ronald McDonald in Lego form or real life form, just as creepy. Just as creepy, man. And shout out to another one of the Bricklink designer sets here. Saloon I don't have, just saying. And then you have a roller coaster in the background here. So the Mesa Mountain Railroad, which looks like something right out of Disney. Great to see those roller coaster pieces implemented there. And you're going into an entire Western display here, which is great to see. You even got some Lone Ranger themed stuff going on over here.
Hey, you know, it's what us Western fans have to live with.
I mean, the sets themselves, regardless how you feel about the movie, are killer. It's awesome. So I even got the Lone Ranger train this weekend at BrickFair. Like that Stagecoach is one of the best sets of Western to ever come out. Like this is a great Western display combining the newer stuff, classic stuff. It's awesome.
I have to mention, I love how they got the Grant Davis, Jason Alleman from the pop-up book tiles, but it fits so well with like that Western aesthetic. It looks like a wood piece. That's awesome.
All those little details add up over time.
Here's two massive tall ships that I don't think are going to make it under the bridge.
You know, that's not our responsibility. That's a lawsuit, insurance liability waiting to happen. I want to go to this Halloween party right here, man. Where's this happening at?
Look at the lights.
That's awesome. I want, like, Halloween is such a great time of the year, and it's approaching soon enough, whether you realize it or not, and that's great to see there.
Here's a holiday Lego train. We actually featured a video of this on the channel and the way this all came together. So if you want to see how this came together, we featured that. But so the Lego portion is the train track down here and then the Lego trains and then there's Lego ornaments on the tree. But the rest of it is kind of a regular Christmas tree.
Yeah, I love Christmas and it's great to see the community come together and make something like that.
Some of those space sets comparing the very old and the very new. Crashed UFO.
Crashed UFO, as well as some grape action happening over here, some pigs, and then an awesome concert that I want to go to. They got the Monster Mash band over here. This is the Undercover band, and the Rancors seem to be the pit bosses over here. So that's some tight security there, man.
Nice greenhouse. Oh, here's like an expanse on kind of the Black Falcon's fortress, kind of making it better. I like that. And then I think that's back where we started, so we'll move over to the next section then. Passing the BrickFair Derby on the left, always a popular event with the public. And right here, this whole section is just some more old space sets. I think they're showing their age.
I mean, you can definitely see the discoloration here, especially on this guy right down here. That's almost just straight up orange there. That's like a creamsicle orange sort of deal. But
yeah, that's disturbing what happens to those pieces like that.
As long as you keep them in good condition, out of direct sunlight, then a lot of your pieces will remain intact. But these pieces are nearing 30 years old, just to make sure you date yourselves there. It's quite, yeah.
I thought it was interesting. Sean Kenny was saying when I was talking to him the other day, we saw his work earlier. He said he's doing less like big art exhibits outdoors because of that, the way that the pieces age and the builds just get destroyed so easily.
And you see that in official Lego models too, at like Legoland and whatnot. They really need to upkeep on all those models, cleaning them off and then even replacing them, which is a massive deal. Especially factor that in for independent creators too.
Got several various space scenes. I love the little Blacktron guys pumping up the M-Tron train.
That's very fitting. I like it.
And then we'll move on to the next section from there. So it looks like they shut a few lights off in this section, but hopefully you can still see everything. Let's see. The police station, Mike's Automax.
That's done by Mike.
Okay.
That's Mike's.
Yes.
Automax.
I like it. That's very intuitive of you. The doghouse.
That's where I am a lot of the time, in the doghouse.
Mobile gas, that's really cool. I love the way they did the kind of ceiling portion there.
Can we get those gas prices again? Jeez, come on now. You got some great branding for all these individual buildings here. It's fantastic.
The bowling alley, Cinnabon, corner Starbucks. Castle B&B, that's great.
Sure.
I would stay there.
So like I've said multiple times, I'm from Boston. I want to go to Krispy Kreme. There's no Krispy Kreme up by where we're at.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That's really good.
Yeah, because the Dunkin' Donuts are actually garbage. So I want to experience some Krispy Kreme while I'm down here. Great to see that represented here.
Come to Indiana and we'll buy you some Krispy Kreme.
Is this Inception? What? Oh, it's the gun. It's a gun show at the Dallas Expo Center. Okay. We're not at the gun show, but hey, there you go. It is the Dallas Expo Center. That's what it looks like on the outside. Speaking of guns,
Tarawa. So this is like one of the more famous Pacific battles during the Second World War. You can see some like American Seabees with the bulldozer there, and troops landing, Japanese tank on fire. And you've got the Eastern Front. So anytime there's snow, it kind of sets that scene really nicely for the Russians and Germans fighting on the Eastern Front. A lot of smaller vignettes here depicting various time periods, Operation Market Garden, then much more recent history in Iraq.
definitely showcasing a lot of military builds here that have been pretty prevalent throughout the entirety of BrickFair, Virginia.
I love this temple here. I wish more builders would do kind of like ancient Greek and Roman architecture and just like builds in general. One of my dream Lego themes would be kind of an ancient Roman or ancient Greek Lego theme, because I think there's just so many possibilities with that. But you look at the way the builder did all this with the multicolored columns there. You get kind of the horse statues. It's so great.
It just looks classy, which is what's so great about it. There's a lot of detailing with the gold elements there. All the colors just really go together well, and I agree with you. That'd be a great Lego theme to see. We'll just have to wait and see.
This looks like it's a lot of like Boy Scout related builds, and then kind of a Christmas village.
Shout out to Christmas and Salvation Army once again.
Nice beach town, ring toss, shooting gallery, all different famous beachside attractions. I love this arcade.
That's something that I think so many people have done custom little mini builds for, being the arcade builds, skee ball, the hockey there. Like, what a great just little mini builds, and an arcade would be awesome to have as an official set, but these are great to have in the meantime.
Let's see, some more buildings. Looks like based on some real life buildings here.
Yep.
And then let's see, Ace Brickman. I like that. Art museum.
Yeah, the branding showcase throughout this entire display has been awesome. So shout out to the builders there. Great little city display.
Yeah. And then brings us to the next section, which I guess is to our right here. So there's some really impressive stuff on display. So on the left here, this is Marcus Rollbuehler. I believe this is his display. I think we actually showed this in our tour at Brick World Chicago as well. People watch that, but so much going on here.
Great little build there. Love all the little details. It's a great slice of a city right there.
Move around this way. Go ahead. These, I'm not sure if this was built for some kind of contest, what all these are. There's like a walking Rubik's Cube.
That looks pretty intimidating. I don't want to wake up to that in the morning.
Here's some very fancy rides. So you've got the Wrath of Poseidon, a carousel. I love the like beefy columns on that.
Yeah, and especially it being lit up. These do actually move. I have seen them move earlier.
Oh, look at that.
They're spying on us. It's the government. There it is. But it must be motion activated or something because there's nobody around here. Unless it, it's
it knew the camera was rolling and it needed to perform.
That's the government for you. So you have another maze over here. It's just called the maze. So it's a maze. And shout out to the big balls. Got some wipeout action happening over here. What are those pieces?
I think they're Duplo balls, I believe. They're like, so there's a ball, like a big ball contraption around here somewhere that also uses those.
Those are big balls. We got over here some toast. Let's get this bread.
Let's get this. Shout out to Micah and let's get this bread.
That's my life motto right there, baby. Let's go. Got some babies. Baby caterpillars.
A metaphorical representation of human experience.
That has hit me on a personal level. I like that. Fantastic.
Wow. Don't look at that build too long or it might just mess you up.
Yeah, exactly.
No, Micah's a singularly special builder, so I always appreciate seeing his work.
I wouldn't want to be on the 7 Seas dealing with that guy right there. That looks intimidating.
Look at what is even going on with the guy? It's like the old Technic head, or like pre-Technic. Like, I don't even know what that is.
That guy just screams like, I'm coming to get you. Like, yeah, all right, sure you are, buddy. Okay. Got some great builds over here of various cars and a trailer. Sure, why not? You got to store a horse somewhere,
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, these are some of this moves here. I think we've shown some of these in other tours as well. Here's some different military builds. The Survivor TV show game.
I don't get that one.
I have no idea how that works. Let's see. I like this where they use the clear tubing to give the effect of like missiles firing.
Yeah, that's great. Although they're a little discolored, the effect is still there. And more brick separator use here for this build. It's called the B. That's some great part usage there.
Some little mountain landscapes. Movie night. Love the little lazy river of elves and friends.
That looks incredibly magical. I like it.
Hot rods.
There's some classic hot rods there. Modified VW bus there, the Beetle. Great to see.
Yeah. Star Wars versus classic space. Here's the showdown we all been wanting to see.
That really is a microcosm for a lot of the LEGO community there, and it's great to see them go head to head. I don't know who's going to win it, but I don't want to find out.
Various planes, trains, and automobiles. Let's see. I think this finishes this section out with John Klapeek's Indiana Jones vignettes. So we've shown. I know he's brought some of these to some shows. Some of these might be new, but I love seeing John's work. He's appeared in many videos over the years on Beyond the Brick, and his stuff is always great to look at.
I never quite realized how many iconic scenes there were in Indiana Jones until you really see him right here in person. I mean, you're going from everything from the first movie, even to Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It's all here. It's all represented. So it's good to see that there's these small little vignettes that have a representation for a good franchise overall.
And these small little scenes, once again by Marcus, kind of built on wood actually, but just like great uses of one or two pieces to capture details.
Very artsy. I like it.
Yes. So we'll head this direction then. Let's see. We showed that section, so let's go over to the Ninjago City. That is the next destination for us. And there's not a lot of Ninjago on display here, but I love this Ninjago City. So this is a builder. He's kind of added to this over the years in its current iteration right here. He's got one or two modular buildings, and then like the big Ninjago city set, but the rest of it's all custom.
And regardless how you feel about Ninjago, it has such a great artistic style to it, and these sets are just great sets overall, regardless of if you're a fan or not. Like, great to see it expanded upon here. Massive tree in this city square here. You got the Palace Cinema. Great custom builds as well. It all really blends in together very nicely.
Yeah, that's very cool. And one thing I really love is this section right here actually pops into the mountain over there, so you can switch those two builds out. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and especially with this Dragon Boat race over here. Just a set that was a regional exclusive, recently released and available in LEGO stores and on LEGO website right there. A great set, great value for the figures there, and can definitely populate a city like this, no problem. And you skipped over your branding over there. Your stickers over there. Hashtag ad. Come on now.
That's why we need you on the tour. You got to point those things out.
I got to spot all the cracks in the levee there.
Coming down here, we've got Robbie Blocks.
Shout out to the homie Robbie Blocks, my G, the homie over here. Fantastic stuff. Infinity Gauntlet.
He's going around blinding people with the Infinity Gauntlet during the World of Lights.
You know, that's fine. I would embrace it. It's great. No, but he does have some great builds here and great part usage here for the sides of this small slice of a building here, and just great techniques overall. I really like it. And I'm not just saying that because he's cool. Great.
Got the Rocky steps there. That's always a hit in the Philly show.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome work, Robbie.
So what do we have on the other side here in this section? We've got like minifigs on a base plate going hardcore.
You see a lot of custom stuff in there, but they are just having a big old mashup party there.
Here's a very nice like art display with the Chicago skyline, kind of showing how you could put that on display.
You're going to see that in like an architect's one-bedroom apartment in the Chicago Tower. Like, this is my artistic Lego. That's what it would look like in the shadow box.
That's what everyone in Chicago sounds like.
Exactly.
We'll come across here then to this section. Start right here with this Wizard of, I believe this is pop culture, right? So that's what all of these builds are.
Yeah, it seems that way. And this is the Wizard of Oz. You're seeing the grand reveal of who the wizard actually is. And it's quite revealing, of course. You got a little reference to Fantastic Beasts with Niffler right down there. Great little details in here. And great to see Wizard of Oz expanded upon. It's great.
It's so crazy to see a build all green like that. Like, it almost takes your eyes a little bit of adjustment because you just don't see that.
Yeah, definitely. It's the Emerald City for a reason, and it makes it stand out all the more.
We got a little like smog type action. Catwoman's greatest heist here.
It's a lot of cats.
Soaring high. Oh, I love the use of that spaceman.
Yeah, that's actually fantastic, and such a small vignette almost here, and that's a great use of the clouds on the bottom there. Has a real sense of height there. And you have Dancing with Demons taking a look inside of a pumpkin here. Great to see from this low angle here. So and it's always amazing seeing like a round shell contained having this intricate display.
Got Apocalypse New York. Oh, we're good, thank you. Or as some people would refer to it, just New York City on an average day.
That's right. That's right.
Arkham Asylum here.
But smaller. But smaller. So, hey, great works over here, representing a lot of Arkham Asylum very nicely.
Shadow of War.
That's a video game.
That is a true statement, Brian.
There it is right there. Shout out to Stranger Things. Just binged all 3 seasons. Fantastic show.
It's a real small up-and-coming show that I feel like just not a lot of people have seen at this point.
Yeah, we really got to promote it, and there needs to be a Lego set about it at some point. But great to see Castle Buyers really expanded upon in a proper scale here, and the upside-down version of that, as well as the Buyer's living room here. Well, man, if you're not on the Stranger Things hype train, you got to hop on board.
We need like a Castle Buyer set that looks like Fort Legorado. It's just like a massive like wooden set.
It's almost like they should make a set like that, but we'll talk about it later. Hashtag spoiler alert to anyone who hasn't seen Avengers Endgame here. This is, I guess, part of the scene where all the Avengers team up against Thanos and his goons, minus the Avengers here.
They're missing one small part of the movie.
The integral heroes that defeat Thanos. But you know what? It's a work in progress. So hey, some of them are actually over here. This is actually massive spoilers. So it's on digital now. You got it. So you see Cap wielding Mjolnir and obviously his shield. Thor, everyone hopping into action here. So great to see also the Iron Man Igor suit expanded upon from the Endgame sets as well.
Here is Vision Bricks. Got the Battle of Wakanda forest.
Yeah, and such a powerful scene here in that custom Infinity Gauntlet. That might be one of the ones that actually lights up that one of the vendors here is selling, and that adds a much...
I believe it is. He was showing that the other night.
Yeah, it's such a fantastic addition. It really makes Thanos that much more menacing. Now, do you know Harry Potter at all?
I don't. Should I hand the mic off?
Hand me this microphone. All right, so we got a fantastic build of Grimmauld Place here, and obviously this opens up in the movies. You got so many references here with Harry Potter. Shout out to Overwatch, a theme that has a fantastic line of figures in it, and great to see it expanded upon into a vignette. You have so many things here. Actually, Hollow Knight, you have Adventure Time, Harry Potter, Sorcerer's Stone, Fallen Devil, so many different things here. Great to see Destiny representation, Hollow Knight, the Chamber of Secrets, another fantastic scene, the Astronomy Tower, where obviously, spoiler alert, Dumbledore kicks the bucket. You also have Privet Drive, Ron breaking out Harry of his abusive household there. Shout out to the new set that came out on August 1st. Lots of new Harry Potter action happening over here. Get the Malfoy Manor as well. Got to keep it classic with the 1980s Mario built in proper proportions here. Great to see that. You have this red Yuan Ti there. And not family friendly, but impressive to see this brewery here. A great addition, and a lot of breweries popping up. We got this schmuck over here, Mr. Kevin A. Hinkle, trying to upstage everyone else with his Mosaic builds.
They're not going to let him in the door one of these years, but he keeps getting in.
They probably won't, and I have to do a shameless plug here. I have made the Slow King and Balloon Pikachu here in a similar style to Kevin's builds because I was inspired by what he did, and I actually have these in the background of my videos, so I'm glad to share those there. And you also have Trainers Red, Blue, Earthbound things that we saw earlier, Super Mario World, both in the Super Mario form and slightly smaller. And obviously, Mario has to be riding Yoshi, licking the Koopa. And I actually did an in-depth video at Philly Brickfest about this.
We did, yeah, exactly. That's a great run you had there of things that I did not recognize, so I'm glad you could take us through that.
And there's other stuff on this table that we'll get through, too. Don't worry.
With your help, we can do it.
There we go. Teamwork, baby.
This is Star Trek Deep Space Nine, which I know not because I know anything about Star Trek, but because this was at Brickworld Chicago. So we already featured this in an in-depth video. Adrian Drake, who is just an absolute mad lad and does insane builds with all the time, is incredible. And this is his latest build. I love this. I mean, just the way all these different parts sticking off of it.
I asked him earlier while he was assembling it, like, is this a pain in the butt to assemble? He's like, oh, 100%. Totally. So the amount of effort it goes to transport and assemble this and showcase it is incredible. It's great to see him here at BrickFair, Virginia.
We should circle around here and show the rest of this stuff on display. But yeah, if you want to see more of this, you should check out a more in-depth video from Brickworld because Adrian goes into a lot more depth on how that all came together. Also, during the World of Lights, he turns it into like the Deep Space Disco and it has like music going. It's great.
Nice, awesome.
This is, I think, a Tesla in space, which is also an Adrian build.
That's a fantastic, not quite a meme, but an iconic image for our generation for sure.
That's Tesla, so it's a meme.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bricksburg 2.0, Star Trek Bridge. They look like they could be beyond the Brick employees.
You know what? Maybe you should go to the recruitment center. Are there any stickers around here? No, we're good. Okay, cool.
What is this? The haunted stretching portraits? So that's pretty cool. They use like minifigs to depict that.
Nice. Great to see an artistic piece on showcase here. Next to a Wonka bar, nonetheless.
And then a Mermaid Mansion and a Rocky Road Chase. Okay, and then we'll go to the next section over here. So let's circle back around.
So there's also a section up here that I'm quite looking forward to. There's actually quite a few different builds over here. There's some Bionicle, which I don't know if you guys have gone over yet, but quite a few builds that I'm excited about.
This is really getting you. It's good because we just passed into. Let's see, what time is it here? It is. It's just hitting midnight, so you know.
And I gotta get up at like 8 a.m., so it's all good.
Okay, so this is gonna keep you going here. So what do we have to start off right off the bat? This is Overwatch.
That goes beyond my knowledge. Okay, sure.
Is this a Fortnite bus?
So that is the new Hidden Side bus, which the designer of which is actually here. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Okay, I did not.
Yeah, he's here, so we'll have to get you talking to him. But that's an awesome set that just came out. You have Count Dooku, which I think that's Baby Groot supposed to be, maybe Groot in general. So can I take the microphone for a second?
You can.
Okay. So now, these builds over here. This fine gentleman has gone through and made some incredible evolutions here. A fantastic building style, incredibly accurate depiction of the colors of the various evolutions here. The building style is incredible, especially when you have Belle and Gaston, Ariel. You have Tinkerbell in the back, Gyarados with Trainer Blue. Such a fantastic building style. I had the pleasure of talking to this gentleman just a couple of hours ago, and I can't wait to see what he does next. Shout out to Michael, and he did Bulbasaur over here. So many great builds he's done. So excited to see more. We have It's a Wonderful Life, which is a classic Christmas movie if you haven't seen that before. Notre Dame Cathedral, the part that is not burned off and not under construction. You have the Little Shop of Horrors flower shop there for you, and a bunch more things too. That I'm gonna give you the microphone back. That's all I knew about. That's all I knew.
Wait, but you were about to hit. Isn't this Stranger Things?
Oh, that is strange. Wait, is it? The Tremor. Is it?
Maybe not. I thought it was.
No.
Okay.
No.
See, this is why I'm not allowed in the pop culture section.
You know what? That's fine. We'll work through it together, man. This is Rainbow Six Siege over here. I knew that.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. Shout out to the Rainbow Six collabs that have happened with Gamerlog the last couple of years. You can check those videos out on the channel.
This is some depictions of the Red Letter Media folk over there. So there you go. Betrayal at House on the Hill for your viewing enjoyment there. This is from Moana, a fantastic depiction of the scene from Moana. Have you seen it?
I have, actually, yeah. I've seen very few animated movies, but I have seen that.
That's a great one. And speaking of which, Coco, in that similar vein there. Not directly from Coco, but, you know, yeah. It's that similar idea, Dias de los Muertos.
The Transformers?
Yes, they transform.
Yes.
They do.
They do. Custom minifigs here.
Ultron getting his butt kicked, of course.
So this is, you can see a number of custom minifigs on display here. Let's see. Ford Hot Rod. Rush.
I don't know. More Transformers. Shout out to the Transformers there.
Pathfinder animation set.
That's what it is. What is with the Squidwards? Hold up. The patience of Squidward. Whoa, man, he's lost it. Squidward is he's gonzo. Especially with this Squid Mech right here, with the basilisk head for the head right there. Wow, that's saying a lot right there. And there's Breaking Bad, 80 million pile of cash there. That's a lot
That is an impressive pile of Lego money.
Man, that's great. I like that. Got some more custom figures inside of there. Great to see. Custom figs actually all the way through here and leading up to the Christmas Story house, which was on Lego Ideas. It was a Lego Ideas proposal, one that I really wanted to happen. Such a great Christmas movie to watch on Christmas Day, preferably. So
I should mention real quick that there is a new version of it. So the original one they figured was too big and they resubmitted it. So here's the one that's actually still on Ideas. So if people want to check it out, you can actually still vote for that.
And there's obviously you have like the Friends set, you have Big Bang Theory, so that's in that similar vein. I wish it the best of luck.
I like how they made like a graph for the supporters and it's like all themed.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to get people behind it, and I think it's going to work.
Oh, this is all Christmas Story all along here.
I think they like Christmas Story. Maybe. Not quite sure. Hey, don't touch. Don't touch.
They need that sign.
They need it.
I was just going to sweep the minifigs off the build right there.
I was going to take everything in the convention hall.
I do love the Oscar the Grouch build there.
That's pretty good. Shout out to the mini kit Lego Star Wars right there. They should have made a little poly bag of that, man. Anyways.
Shazam? I still haven't seen the Shazam movie. I heard it was good.
It's good. It's one of the better DC movies. That and Aquaman, really good, actually. Shout out to this depiction of La La Land. That's an awesome style to build that in. Fantastic.
The samurai sword as the tie is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Double impact, microscale diorama.
You see some incredibly unique design here. This is an entire style in itself that you really don't see often, and it's obviously from Japanese culture in general, and
Yeah.
it's awesome.
These are the types of builds when we went to the Japan show last year, the BrickFest show. It's like, imagine just like half the builds here are like this style, and it's crazy, and it's all just based on like Japanese like TV shows and that sort of thing. Yeah, it's really amazing.
That's awesome. Some Harry Potter stuff happening over here. Fantastic work. And then an absolute ton of Transformers that all transform. Such a variety of colors and styles and vehicles. Great to see so many people here.
BX bricks. Here we go. Always awesome stuff. Let's see. We've got a few more builds on the end here. Thundercats.
Black Panther. A accurate movie scale of the green dragon from Ninjago. That's Stranger Things? That is Stranger Things. There we go. Excellent. Doctor Who. You got Iron Man here. You got a Kraken. You got Pontiff, which... Anyways. Great stuff overall on this table. I approve.
Yes. Very, very good work. So we'll come down here, getting down to the last few sections here, sliding past the midnight hour. This is Arkham Asylum. We've done a more in-depth video a while back at another BrickFair show, hence the sticker. There we go. So definitely check that out. We got the Batcave. I love just the tiny section of Wayne Manor.
That's all you really need, honestly. Oh, we got Nintendo. Give me this. So this is Super Smash Brothers. I didn't even see this. Are you kidding?
See, this is why the tour videos are so good, because you see stuff you didn't even see before.
We have, ladies and gentlemen, give me a second here, Hanlon Brothers. We got Sonic. We got the Inkling, Ridley. We got everyone in the cast. We got Banjo-Kazooie. Are you kidding? The hero from Dragon Quest. You got Joker. Oh, man. You got Waluigi getting eaten by the piranha plant. I'm stealing this display. I'm sorry. It's happening. I'm stealing. Oh, man. I got to talk to this guy. I got to talk to this. Oh, man. Anyways, I'll hand the microphone back over.
It's all good. Thank you. Thank you. I love your passion. It's great.
Absolutely.
Let's see what else we have here. What are the... Oh, that's Green Arrow cars there. And then this is the like Batmobile display. It's 80 years of Bat gear. And it's like from the very beginning all the way to today.
Hashtag ad?
Yes. There we go. What are we up to, 5 or 6?
It's a lot of promotion you paid for.
We don't stop until every build has one.
That's fair.
Yes. Oh, I love this build here. This is one of my favorite at the show this year. So this is kind of one of the, basically the final scene of Apocalypse Now, when they finally reach the temple in the jungle and get to the guy that they've been trying to hunt down there the whole movie. And he included the Apocalypse Now words there, which I think is like a really iconic shot in the movie. So I think that's really cool. And I love this so much. The jungle, he really got that nice like heavy jungle effect with all of the leaf pieces.
Yeah, whether or not you've seen the movie, you can appreciate the amount of greenery in here and the density of it. It's awesome.
Here's the battle for Whiterun. I like the way that he displayed this. So it's got the square scene, but then he kind of offset the actual build.
It's a lot of artistic means inside of there, and I love the offset of all these plates, or rather tiles over here, to really add a lot of detail to the walls.
Entrance to Riverwood. A much smaller Wakanda battle going on.
More Transformers that may or may not transform.
Round the trash can once again. This is just everything possible in one scene. Is that like a Japanese Zero?
Yeah, it looks like it. This looks like a giant cluster. Just a big cluster of stuff happening right here.
Two guys from Quantico Pizza.
There it is. And shout out to Borderlands, the series right here. Some more video game representation. I enlighten you on that one. There you go.
I love these two builds right here, the graffiti artists with Bionicle and Lego. I just think that the lettering is so great on those.
You see a lot of custom printed pieces like that, but to see it actually built out of brick in that scale is fantastic too. That's the Achievement Hunter cast in minifigure form over there. Shout out to Rooster Teeth. You have the Charles Adams family house in Westfield here. Big building right there, using those discolored pieces very nicely there.
Some sort of Viking type builds. The village of Burke. This is a BBC show, The Paradise.
And they don't know how many pieces, they weren't counting.
So shout out to our British viewers. Maybe you'll identify that show. I have no idea what that is.
Let us know in the comment section down below.
If you've gotten this far in the video, please do. Let's see, some Bionicle type construction, Plants vs. Zombies.
That's a video game. That's a video game.
There you go. Oh, I love that. There's like a Dukes of Hazzard. They're jumping.
That's nice. We got some representation from Phineas and Ferb, some custom molded heads up there.
Whoa.
And this guy over here, you may or may not know. His name is, what's his name? David Pagano over here, known for his various Lego animations here, trying to get this Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure mall made on Lego Ideas. So obviously go and support him if you can, which you can, so go do it. And he brought a ton of his creations that he's had in his animated films here, and it's great to see the diversity in the cast of characters, as well as the different facial animations for this news anchor down here, rather officer, and you really see how he animates each of the facial expressions. They're all done by hand. It's great.
Yeah, and I should mention his book he did with Dave Pickett there, the Lego animation book. So pick that up if you're at all interested in Lego animation. Great resource. Battle in Mordor, and then, hey, more Transformers.
They do transform.
What are all these little scenes here?
It seems to be a bunch of various scenes from Gotham's Greatest Adventures. So you have like Harley Quinn over here with the Joker, a bunch of different DC-related builds, in complete contrast to this massive Iron Man Hall of Armor, which is awesome. It's a 2019 edition, and shout out to Marvel Studios. 10 years of Marvel goodness on film, representing everything Iron Man in this shot. I love it.
Here we go. Psycho Brick, that's Dominic. Check his stuff out, it's great work. And we'll round the corner here. Nominated for Best Pop Culture. Got the Clue Manor. I'm assuming do you think there's an interior in there?
I would certainly hope so, yeah.
And then Beach Patrol, so getting this like construction level like style and scale of building.
You definitely don't see that very often, and shout out to these bucket pieces here used for the base of the tree. Great to see that technique as well.
So this is a new section over here of trains, and take a look around these. The amount of like train track depth here is truly incredible. Look at that, we're like 10 deep here, Brian.
That is a lot of trains deep, good sir. Massive train layout here, I like it.
You got the bridge that goes up, so it's just like in GBC, they need the bridges to get in and out. You gotta have that with the train layouts. 2 big tunnels here.
Emphasis on not touching it there.
Yes, some more Octan. Here's the Bricks Theater. And the firehouse. It's the engine shop. Some really incredible train engines there.
We're having a lot of fun here late night at BrickFair, Virginia, especially as we get to the next section.
Yes.
Way down here.
We'll come around here and hit this Bionicle section. So many Bionicle on display here at BrickFair. We've mentioned this before, but really great stuff. Patrick Biggs' work always stands out to me as some really incredible builds. I love his work.
It's great to see the Bionicle community come together in full force and showcase so many different diverse builds at BrickFair.
That's really, yeah, really incredible. Here, like this purple and gold guy.
And these Bionicle fans are so passionate too. I was even going around myself asking a bunch of questions, and just to see the amount of thought and backstory that goes into some of these characters is amazing to see. Custom painted masks and whatnot. There's so much lore that goes into Bionicle that still carries into today, even though Lego isn't making it anymore.
This machine cavalry is just really cool. I love that horse there. That's really neat.
Shout out to Galador right here, man.
Is there anything Galador can't do?
There's a lot of things it can't do, like be a concurrent Lego theme. Hey!
Got some late night mask building.
That's Mewtwo. I know that. That's Mewtwo. He's a Pokemon.
Oh, thank you.
A powerful one.
I like how you said that to me like I was like 3 years old.
It's for the audience. You never know. They may not know.
Oh, this guy is super cool. I know that Roman Centurion. I recognize that.
And I just love the simplicity of the boxing. Just a simple little thing. It's great.
The Duplo guy, I love that. Great stuff there. So we'll go across to this Bionicle section then. Wooden shelves. Yeah.
That's great to see. X-Wing made out of Bionicle parts. That one really stood out to me. There's also a Millennium Falcon out around
Bionicle
here.
at the disco.
Yeah, those were apparently sold very cheap, and why not light it up like the 4th of July, baby?
Here's an old cardboard cutout. Summer 2001, find the power.
Hey, it may be 18 years late, but, you know, better late than never.
We've got the giant hat.
There's a giant hat. It's getting late night here, ladies and gentlemen.
We're almost done. There's like 2 sections left. Oh, man. This was signed by Corvin, who's a Lego designer.
Cool.
It's very cool. This is super cool. These are like ball joint pieces turned into a tree.
That looks like something that's going to come out of the earth and consume all the wildlife.
It reminds me a lot of like a Barbara Hole build from, if you've seen it for like blacklight work, she's some really great stuff.
Exactly.
This is cool. It's like an Endor tree, but in Bionicle.
Yeah, totally. And then you have some Link action happening down here.
Shouts out.
Shout out indeed.
What else do we have here?
It's more Bionicle, if you couldn't tell.
I like this guy with the double saw.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, here's a water themed.
Yeah, you get a lot of diverse creatures in Bionicle builds as well, especially here at BrickFair with the amount that's here. It's not just humanoid-looking figures. It's going to be a ton of different types of characters.
Lenticular mosaics.
Those have been featured many a times at various conventions.
We'll turn it around here. So I think we've got just a couple sections left. So we've got the Garden Slug, and then there's a couple smaller ones we're going to backtrack and show you in our continued efforts to not miss anything here. Really great trains. The lighthouse is cool. Surfboard shops. What else do we have here? The lighting on this whole display is great lighting.
You know, it looks fantastic during the World of Light segment. They turn off all the lights in here. It's really something to experience in real life at one of these conventions.
You should make it to a show, everyone watching, if at all possible. Waiting for BrickFair.
That's not that accurate. People got in smoothly.
That is not true to life.
No, not quite, but an accurate representation of how many people were here earlier.
Forgotten Battlefield. That's like German zombie soldiers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really artistic interpretation here. Rite of passage here at the Garden Slug area, and just super unique. Wow.
The Duplo Rainbow. Academy here with lots of different rooms. Modular style town layout. Yellow shingled house. Whoa. Big Bird.
Shout out to Big Bird. That's my buddy Joey who made that. It's awesome.
Let's see what else we have down here. I guess it's the trains to finish out the Garden Slug area. So these are some really nicely done trains. Brickmania car, definitely a sponsor.
Yep, make sure hashtag ad and plenty of nominations in this area for trains.
So now we're in a section, I believe this is all AC Pin's work. So you see a lot of this is inspired by flowers. He's had his work on display in the Lego house and various other places, and just does a ton with flowers, which I know you really like.
Yeah, and on display in the Lego house for good reason, because these flower builds are incredibly well done and well executed, and you could easily blend these in with regular flowers and they totally fit in. Great work over here.
And then in addition to flowers, he does massive battle scenes.
A great contrast here, really.
Next to that, so this, I think I was trying to tell you, Brian, earlier with the larger Duplo balls. Yeah. So this is like a large ball contraption for those size of Duplo balls. You can see one right there.
Great to have some public interaction here at BrickFair, Virginia, for sure.
The Duplo ball run. First time ever they put like a map of the layout on the screen here for the public. So
fun fact for you, that TV actually broke in shipment. They had to buy a new one, and I set it up.
Oh, wow. This is the kind of behind-the-scenes stuff that you can't get anywhere else.
Exactly. That's what I'm here for, baby.
So this, I think, is the very last section we're going to show you. This is Okie Lug, which is the Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana Lego Users Group. You can see a number of tugboats and a little underwater scene, getting some crabs.
Yeah, we save some of the best for last here. Love some crab fishing, especially up where I'm from. Not to shove it down your throat again, but...
Wait, are you from Boston?
I'd like to think I am, man. Just saying.
Oh, this is great. Oh, okay. For anyone from Okie still watching, this definitely doesn't look like an oil spill.
BP had nothing to do with this. Trust me, man.
Oh, wow. Well, we should probably stop now.
It's midnight. We're all tired. And everyone who's watching to the very end of this video, thank you so much for tuning in, seeing the entire BrickFair Virginia tour. Thank you, Hanlon Brothers, for having me on.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. This has been fantastic. Awesome stuff, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you to everyone who made it this far in. I hope you enjoyed seeing all of BrickFair. This has been great. There's so much stuff here. So make it out here in person if you can.
Comment, rate, subscribe, and hit the bell.
Woo!